Good afternoon and welcome to the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. It has been a great weekend of racing and we are about to kick off the 4400 Unlimited class. These are the biggest and baddest names of our sport, and there is Mr. Paul Wolf sitting on the pole. It is going to be a great race. And here are some of the cars right here. There's Dan Dunn, Chip McLaughlin, Kevin Porterfield, driven by Adam Woodley, Roger King, Josh, and Rusty Blyler. We should have about 20 cars out on course. Again, it's going to be such a great race. I cannot wait to get this thing started. It's going to be so much fun. Again, I am Miles Hasquist alongside Mrs. Pam Hall, and we are about to kick off the unlimited race. Unlimited horsepower, unlimited suspension, unlimited tires, and it's going to be fast and fun.
It's going to be fast and fun. This morning was muddy. The drivers that we just had this morning, the 4500 and the 4800 classes, they were saying the track was coming together towards the end of their race. So these 4400 racers are going to have an amazing race out there today. They've been out there watching it, helping in the pits, and I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see them out there. They're going to be battling. It's going to be one at a time every 30 seconds, and they are going to give it their all to get out there. Yesterday we battled the dust. Today we battled in the mud a little bit, so we're going to check out the track right here. Here's a little feature. Like I said, this is from yesterday a couple days ago during pre-running. It was extremely dusty. This morning it was extremely muddy. It is an 8-mile course. They'll race for 2 hours plus 1 lap. So at 2 hours, the white flag comes out. I think they're going to be right around a 20-second lap count. It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. I love that we're doing it by a time and not doing lap count, because sometimes the race does go a lot faster, and so that's why they're doing it with a 2 hour plus a lap.
It's going to be so much fun out here on course. So if you know anybody out there, make sure to check them out. Here's a great either-or. We've got 11 either-ors out on the course. It's going to be so awesome to see these, up to 1,000 horsepower out there on course. It's going to be amazing to see them battling some of the biggest and baddest names in our sport. It's going to be absolutely amazing, Pam.
Yes, and they're all out there getting lined up right now, and that right there is a great uphill on the course that we're viewing here. And the drivers today, it's going to be super exciting for them out there on that course coming together.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this race come to debut. It was Paul Wolf and Josh Blyler battling it out last year. We'll see how it all comes together, but it's going to be so much fun to see it. I can't wait to get this party started. We should be kicking off in roughly 10 more minutes. So again, if you know somebody back home, be sure to get to AOE.tv and speedsport.tv. It's going to be great.
It is going to be awesome. I cannot wait for this race to start.
It's going to be, and we're talking about unlimited, and that's just what we're talking about. These are the Swiss Army knives of off-road. They can race the desert. They can rush short course. It's going to be absolutely amazing to see them battling out there so strong. And when I'm talking about unlimited, it's unlimited horsepower, unlimited suspension. Absolutely. You build it, you dream of it, and you make it happen. Like I said, it's going to be great to see them out there battling. Last year it was Paul Wolf, Josh Blyler, but we've got a lot of great people out on course. There's a great shot of Chip McLaughlin's car. So for engine, absolutely everything's unlimited. A lot of builders are out here. That's a Tribe 16 car right there. We have a Gomez built car by Joe Thompson and UFO. It's going to be great to see. But this is tight woods. So Miller Motorsports cars with over 50-degree steering. It's going to be hard to beat some of those. The Blylers, Chad Hunt, Casey Gilbert. It's got a stacked field.
Yes, and the Blylers, they have proven out here at this track in the past years. So you're right, those Miller chassis, everybody always says that what it is, they are built for the woods. So that's why they do so good out here.
It's going to be so much fun. So while we get ready to kick this race off, we're going to take a quick break and be right back after this.
no matter what, it's never an easy event, and it never will be, and that's what makes King of the Hammers King of the Hammers. Tire choice is everything. I mean, to have a tire that's reliable and consistent and drives well out in the desert, but yet when we get to these crazy rock sections, still has grip and performs, and we can hit these sharp, jagged edge rocks and not have a problem, is what we need. And the Rockzilla is definitely our second to none when it comes to the UTV tires. And it just speaks traction. It's got big lugs hanging off the side. It's got big lugs down the side of the sidewall of the tire. If you're gonna look for something that makes traction and is gonna grip in rocks and dirt and everything, you look at a Rockzilla and go, man, that thing looks like it's gonna do the job right there.
Welcome back to the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. We're doing a post-TV production with Speed Sports, so some of the things may sound a little goofy to you right here on site, but don't worry, you will not miss any of the action. We're going to bring you one heck of a show here in just a few weeks. Welcome to the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. We are about to kick off the 4400 Unlimited class, and it is going to be one heck of a dogfight. I can't wait to get this race started. It's going to be a heck of a show.
It's definitely going to be a heck of a show for sure. We have 20 4400s that'll be out there on race course today. It's going to be a fast and fun race.
So this is the 4600 Spider Track stock class. It was a great race we had. We had 6 competitors start. Mick Henson in that little Toyota won the race, but he had to battle all the way to the end. Attrition definitely set in on this. Adam Collin didn't let him off any at all, but it was a lot of fun to watch the 4600 Spider Track stock class.
It was a lot of fun. Mick Henson, I always say he has the little Toyota that could. He's out here. He's proven. He races at that also with rock bouncers as well. So that little Toyota is definitely one of my fan favorites out here at the 4600.
But it was a lot of fun to watch. Derek Alser in that FJ as well. Doug Langford was out there in that huge horsepower Hemi Jeep as well. Roger King had some issues a little bit, Lon Lachey, but hey, you never know what's going to happen. That stock class is a lot of fun to watch. Up next is the 4900 UTV race. We had over 65 cars take the line. There's 3 separate races going on all at the same time, and it was a dogfight all the way to the finish. I used to say this is a sprint endurance, but this was an absolute sprint.
It was definitely an absolute sprint. We had all the big names out here too racing, and we were talking with Johnny Greaves, and Johnny Greaves said, you know what, I was going to take one line and I could see it was bottled up. There was another line that he was going to take, and that one was bottled up as well. So there were so many cars out on race course that there was a lot of stuff just going on the whole entire time.
One of my favorite battles we watched was Kyle Cheney and Jay Shaw. They kind of battled back and forth, and just after the race line start finish, Jay Shaw was out front, and Kyle Cheney just put it to the wood, got around him, and made an amazing pass, and then he just ghosted him. Once he gets in the woods, he just dances through there, and he was gone. Kyle Cheney drove one heck of a race, but there was such a stacked field. Paul Wolf had a little issue up front, but then his last lap turned a smoking pass, and just so much stuff going on. It was a great race to watch, and I just can't wait to see this grow that much bigger and better. So the youth was so much fun to watch. The Youth 170 race is the future of our sport. We had Raleigh May take the whole shot early on and then had a mechanical issue.
She did. She had, I believe it was a fuel pump that was going out on her, but she, like you said, got the whole shot. She was leading the race the whole entire time, and then a mechanical issue, something so simple, can take you out of the race.
And then Brian Folter kind of took off and led, and then Mason Dowker and him were battling quite a bit. He did a bicycle, landed on his side, had a little fumble there, but little Xander Walraven was able to win his class. So we had 2 separate classes racing at the same time. The future of our sport was so much fun to watch. and I loved seeing the little tykes out there running around. We also had the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle Modified class and the 4800 Brannick Motorsports Legends class earlier on today, and it was a great race. It was so much fun out there to see them battling. Yesterday was dusty. This morning it was muddy, and they were driving on ice those first couple laps.
Yes, they were. There was a lot of people having some issues. We were talking how hard it was going to be coming down the hills, and right at the end of the racetrack, right before Sean Reisky was coming through to the start-finish line, he ended up sliding the wrong way and actually taking a tumble. He's okay. Ended up getting his car back together, going, and finished the race.
Yes, so Sean Reisky was our pole setter, came through, and then he had about a 10-minute lead, and he was sitting there on his side for such a while. It was a tough break for him. But then Jesse Oliver in the 4500 class was our physical race leader for a while. Him, Cody St. Clair, Dwayne Garrison was absolutely battling the entire time. But Ryan Taylor really put on a great clinic. Him and Woody Rose battled quite a bit, but Ryan Webb didn't let him out of his sights as well. It was such a great battle with two races going on at the same time. An 8-mile course out here in Rush, Kentucky was a great one to watch. I loved to see that go down. All right, well, when we come back, the 4400 race will be taking off here in just a moment. So we'll take a quick break and have some amazing racing action right after this. We are back for the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. This is the 4400 class, the Unlimited, the biggest and baddest names in our sport. I can't wait to get this party started, Pam.
I can't either. We're going to go through the lineup here in just a moment, but you can see Mr. Paul Wolf right there waiting for that green flag. He is no stranger to being on that number one spot, taken off the line.
And speaking of the classes right here, this is the Nitto leaderboard. There is Paul Wolf 1018 out front.
And then the number 47 of Philip McGilton in that number 2 spot.
In that third spot is Josh Blyler.
Now Cody Hardesty in 4th.
Cade Rott.
Christopher Branton.
Tad Dowker.
Casey Gilbert.
Chad Hunt.
And Brian McVeigh.
In 11th spot, Rusty Blyler.
Dan Dunn.
Chip McLaughlin.
Kevin Porterfield.
Roger King.
Tim Hooper.
Jonathan Dawes.
Brett Moffitt.
And for you, those guys didn't get able to take the line, so we are getting ready to take off for this 4400 Unlimited race. We should be going live racing anytime. JT Taylor, the Ultra 4 USA race director, has the green flag in his hand, and he's making eye contact with Paul Wolf. We'll see what happens, but it is getting close to kick off the 4400 Unlimited race for the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. Paul Wolf, the pole setter, got those 7 points during qualifying yesterday morning, and then he raced in the 4900 class yesterday. Did a great job, got that second place. There's no better pre-run than pre-running at race pace in his Can-Am, and now he's getting ready to take off in his UFO.
Yes, and we've always talked about this, Miles. You got
Look at that. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, Paul Wolf off the line, one at a time every 30 seconds. This is an 8-mile course, racing for 2 hours. They were going to race for 2 hours plus a white flag. So Paul Wolf up the Brannick Hill, getting a little hang time, and look at this course. It's really coming together. We saw some dust. Up next is number 47, Philip McGilton, with Dr. Amanda Ross riding shotgun with him in a Jimmy's chassis.
He also was co-driving yesterday.
Yeah, he co-drove with Jeffrey Donda,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken. So Philip McGilton with VNL Motorsports off the line. But up next, a former King of the Hammers winner, number 41, Josh Blyler, that has won this race the last 2 years.
And like we were saying, Miller Motorsports built that chassis, and this is one to reckon with out here. It has those tighter turns than we normally have, but Josh Blyler just took the green flag.
Up and over the little kick, and then he'll take a hard right, do a little ski jump, blowing past the Amsoil hot pits. Josh Blyler is the one with the target on his back. Can he do a three-peat, or is he going to have to battle till the end with Paul Wolf like he did last year? But we've got a really stacked field.
Yes, and the next up off the line here in just a moment will be the 408 of Cody Hardesty.
With Chris Wyant riding shotgun out of Louisville, Kentucky with Hardesty Racing, and he is off in that TMR chassis.
Their cars are very clean right now. They're going to come through here on that next lap. It's not going to be so clean. They'll be all muddy, but look at him taking off, going through that ski jump right there.
Lots of action yet to come. Up to 1,000 horsepower in some of these cars. Unlimited suspension, unlimited tires, unlimited everything. Does a little bit of a bicycle there as Cody Hardesty heading up the Brannick bump.
And that seems to be the popular line. And right now on the line is the number 7 of Mr. Cade Rod.
Out of Cortez, Colorado with Cade Rod Racing. He's in a Jimmy's 4x4 single-seat chassis. Going to be so fun to see him. He's a Colorado boy, but he's going to be pushing hard. His dad, Randy Rod, is Mr. Jimmy's 4x4, and this is an amazing, amazing car.
He's looking good out there already. Going up that Brannick bump. Taking a little leap there on the end of it.
It's going to be an absolute sprint to the finish. Remember, this is 2 hours.
All right, and right there, that is the 4046 of Christopher Branton, fresh out of the car from earlier.
With Ryan Webb riding shotgun out of Bossier City, Louisiana with Upside Down Racing. Christopher Branton is off the line. It's going to be a great race. We are 6 on the course right now. I'm thinking we're going to do about a 20-minute lap. Yesterday we were battling the dust. Today we are battling the mud, but I really think this track is coming together nice-like.
Yes, it's coming together like we were saying, but what's going on too, these guys are saying 20-minute, but it'll probably be a little bit faster because the last class was about a 23-minute. But off the line just now, that is the 906 of Tad Dowker.
Out of Quaden, Michigan with North Shore Raceworks. He's in a Trent Fab solid axle machine. Bambi, this is going to be a great race. Solid axle versus IFS. Paul Wolf got the whole shot, but Josh Blyler is not too far behind him with Philip Magilton. There is Josh Blyler. Is that a frozen camera or... I believe that's a frozen camera. There is Casey Gilbert, number 618, with Nature Boy Nate riding shotgun out of Fenton, Michigan, with Gilbert Brothers Racing, another Miller Motorsports chassis.
I love that scheme he has on there, the old school STP Richard Petty style.
So Casey Gilbert and Nature Boy Nate heading up the Brannick bump. Up next, the 456 of Chad Hunt with Rick Murray riding shotgun out of Plymouth, Indiana with Hunt's Motorsports. We saw his son Caden Hunt race earlier this week.
And you actually had him in the booth here this morning as well.
That is Chad Hunt going up the Brannick bump as we speak. Part of Team Indiana. Those Nitto tires really laying it down right now.
And off the line right now, getting that green flag is the 270 of Mr. Brian McVeigh.
With Tyler Beck riding shotgun out of St. Charles, Ohio with 270 Motorsports with a wide open design solid axle machine. Brian McVeigh chasing down the dust. Remember, they are taking down 30-second increments, one at a time. So Brian McVeigh up the Brannick bump. Up next is the Happy Pappy, number 46, Rusty Blyler with Shane Erdman riding shotgun out of Klingerstown, Pennsylvania with Big B Motorsports with that Miller Motorsports Pro chassis. Solid axle machine with over 50-degree steering. These things are a weapon in the woods.
And it's really fun to see because sometimes him and Josh start battling out on course too. You know, father-son in a different realm. Sometimes they're together, but it's awesome to see them battling it out. Right now we do have the 4471 of Dan Dunn getting ready to take that green flag.
Chris Brown riding shotgun, part of North Shore Raceworks out of Flint, Michigan, with a Jimmy's chassis with an LS7 Ginter engine. We're getting ready to sing that thing out there. Another IFS machine. Look, he's not running a spare tire.
No, he's not. We were discussing that during qualifying, wondering if they're going to be running the spare tires or not. And it's pretty cool to see, you just picked up on that. But look there online, there is the number 4 of Chip McLaughlin.
With Diamond Dave riding shotgun out of Corinth, Texas, with Rufus Racing. This is a Tribe 16 two-seat IFS machine, and he is racing for Zandy. As he hits the little ski jump as he blows by the AMSOIL hot pits. Speaking about the AMSOIL hot pits, that is not for fuel. They think these are big cars. They can make it the 2 hours. It's only for a mechanical or a tire issue.
Exactly, and there right there on screen now is Kevin Porterfield in the 4426, but he has a alternate driver.
Of Adam Woodley is filling in with Kyle Hathaway riding shotgun out of St. Clair, Ohio with Porterfield Motorsports. That is Adam Woodley driving, who is Mr. Wide Open Designs in a Wide Open Design 2-seat IFS machine. It's probably been 10 years before since he's been in the driver's seat during the race, and Adam Woodley is filling in for his good buddy Kevin Porterfield.
And Miles, I keep recognizing every single driver so far has taken that. And there is Mr. Rusty Blyler right there on your screen.
And we were seeing that earlier. That's the either or. He came straight at us, so traction is definitely coming to light.
Yes, and there's the 124 of Roger King taking the green flag.
With Justin Cowart riding shotgun out of Sparta, Tennessee with Team Robbie Bobby with a Motor City Fab solid axle machine. Great to see him. He was racing in the stock class yesterday, had some overheating issues, but we'll hopefully to see. There's Fancy Pants Dan Dunn out there. Up the trail, 69. Here's the either or. He chooses the straight ahead and the more direct route. There are 11 either ors out on course, and he is going to be pushing hard.
All right, and right there is the 4417 of Jonathan Dawes taking that green flag.
With Corey Day riding shotgun in that brand new Trent Fab machine out of Mooresville, Indiana, with Dirt Weapon Off-Road. He just got that car finished just a few months ago, done a little testing and tuning, had some issues, get it figured out, but it showed up here. It was raw aluminum, so I'm great to see the aluminum wrapped. They're getting her dialed in.
And here we do have a late entry of 4518, Troy Digby.
So Troy Digby was supposed to be in the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle Modified class, but was having some mechanical issues, and you can race up. You just can't race down, so it's great to see him as we see Cade Rod heading down the Yukon launch. That's about race mile 5 or so. There is Adam Woodley driving for Kevin Porterfield in that beautifully built IFS wide open machine. As he's coming through Trail 69, he decides to come straight at us, giving that little horsepower some love, and catches that. There's a huge little spot right there. It's a little bit of water deal right there, and he made it right up.
Having a little bit of trouble right there. That is very steep. He is just slipping and sliding all around, bouncing off the trees. You could see right there. And here we have the 4417 coming down that hill of Jonathan Dawes.
I believe it's 4514. 4514, I believe, for Dirt Digby.
I'm sorry.
There is Roger King, part of Team Robbie Bobby, heading up, and he's going up that little waterfall section. If he comes our way a little bit, it's more of just a dirt little off-camber, as you saw a lot of people, but he's going to back up, almost flops her over, but he's going to take the little longer and rockier right section.
I was going to tell you, Miles, earlier today I saw that same exact thing on screen when you were going through some of your notes, and that was like almost a replay that I just saw.
And that was Troy Digby heading into the woods right there. So we have, I believe, 14 cars out on course of the 4400 Unlimited class. 17 cars out on course that are going to pull it out. Last year it was Paul Wolf and Josh Blyler in a dogfighter. Are we going to have a repeat? Only time will tell. But Philip McGilton did a great race during qualifying the other day and got that second position. Cody Hardesty up front, Cade Rod. So we got a lot of fast guys and gals that are going to be out there battling all the way to the end. There's a nice trailer where we do contingency and all that. And there's the race line, the Nitto. We got Warren there. Be doing some America Pro Rock bouncing later on this evening as well, with $20,000 on the line.
And that is a great shot right there, as you were saying. And Right now, it's going to we have a lot of people out there watching. It's going to fill in the rock bouncers later on at the American Pro Rock. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
I can't wait to watch all of this action come together. It's an 8-mile course, 11 either-ors, 2 hours plus a lap. There is Brian McVeigh, the number 270, heading across the Yukon launch. And then we'll see them on the Spider Tracks backstretch when they're roughly around race mile 6 out of 8. So we got a few cameras out in the woods. A couple drones will be flying around. So we'll do the best to bring you the best racing action we can. This is what Ultra 4 USA is all about.
And Miles, we are at a 12-minute mark right now. We should be seeing some drivers come through here in just a little bit, and there's some fans out there waving. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out and watching.
It's a great crowd starting to build up. Everybody's having a lot of fun here watching some Ultra 4 USA. These cars are the Swiss Army knife of off-road as we see Chip McLaughlin. Chip happens heading down this little section. As you can see him just kind of hitting those ruts and wibble-wobble right through there. And right behind him was Dan Dunn heading through. So lots of action. And look at the dust. There isn't any.
There isn't any. Not yet. It can still dry up, and we could definitely still get some later on.
These cars are the Swiss Army knife of off-road. We race King of the Hammers, Crandon, Mid-America Outdoors, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, right here in Kentucky and Lake Havasu. It's going to be a great, great race all season long, so be sure to stay tuned in.
And everybody that's out there in our crowd, here in just a little bit, we will have Greg from Raceline Wheels giving out some swag. You guys want to stick around, make sure you're hanging out. And here we do have Mr. Paul Wolf right there.
Our physical race leader heading through the Spider Track stock class, and he is zooming, and there is starting to be a little bit of dust, so this course is really coming together. This is the first race in the Ultra 4 USA Eastern Series. Great to see it come together here in Rush, Kentucky.
So we should probably see him within the next 3-4 minutes in here.
I would say so, and he's out front with the clean air, there's not a whole lot of dust yet, but I bet you by the end of this race there's going to start seeing some dust as we see Kevin Porterfield's car coming through with Adam Woodley behind the wheel. Remember, you can have one substitute driver per season, and that is exactly what Kevin Porterfield is doing, putting Adam Woodley behind the wheel. But they still have the same co-driver in it that knows this car of Kyle Hathaway.
Another great overview of everybody out camping in the pits.
This place, they sold over 2,500 tickets to come watch the Ultra 4 USA this weekend for the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash.
There's our guys out there in the pits, the Big B Motorsports over there listening on the radio.
That's the AMSOIL Hot Pits. And there isn't a whole lot of action here because they don't anticipate stopping unless they have a mechanical or a tire situation. But it is absolutely amazing out here in Rush, Kentucky, in the tri-state area, just outside of Ohio and West Virginia, here in northeast Kentucky.
And you can see the mud puddles right there that we still have over here by the start-finish line. I'm not sure exactly which Blyler that was that just went through. Oh, and look at right here. We have a little bit of a battle going on.
Cody Hardesty, I believe, with Jonathan Dawes hot on his tail. Looks like Andrew Gorman is tuned in.
I believe that was the 124 of Roger King.
Oh, you're probably right. And just a great look at all the camping that's here at Rush Off-Road. Every one of these haulers is filled in with campers everywhere. We are just outside of Ashland, Kentucky, and it is absolutely amazing. You can see a little bit of overcast in the trees with the sun and shade, and that can play a little bit of trick in the woods.
It can, because the shadows, even when the sun is out, I mean, the shadows of the trees, can give you a little bit of a misconception of what the track has right there, or if there's a rock you're trying to miss, but it can definitely play mind games with you during the race.
And these ruts are only getting deeper. There's a great shot of the AMSOIL Hot Pits. Everybody's just kind of hanging out. Hopefully they don't have to do a whole lot today, and they can just keep on rocking and rolling.
They are out there. They're prepared for anything because you never know what they might need when they come through the pits. But yeah, it's like you were saying, nobody's planning to stop for fuel. These guys race King of the Hammers. They race races that are long races that they don't need, they have to stop for fuel. So they don't need that fuel can out there ready because their fuel cells are so large.
Yeah, they're used to running a lot of in the desert and whatnot. So, yeah, that's definitely going to play on their side for there. This is an 8-mile course, 2 hours plus 1 lap. There's 11 either-ors out there. So if you're chasing somebody and you're on their tail, they go left, you go right. Mm-hmm. Even if you think it may be slower, it's your chance to try to pass. And then if you don't pass them, you're still behind them. Exactly. So it's just, I love that angle here of the 11 either-ors out here on course. We spend a lot of time on the course layout, and it's absolutely fun. It's fast, and it's very flowy.
Definitely. And we were talking earlier about seat time. We have Casey Gilbert, who rode with his son Aiden. We have Paul Wolf, who raced yesterday, racing today. He's also going to be in the America Pro Rock tonight as well.
And speaking about Paul Wolf, he just comes into screen, so he'll be dropping down that super steep downhill left here in just a moment. It's going to be super exciting. So we're going to be about a 17-minute lap. I was guessing right around that 20-minute mark, so Paul Wolf is on the gas, making it happen. Yesterday, I think the fast lap was a 16:40 in the UTVs, so now we're going to be right around that 17 mark. Paul Wolf is on a mission. And let's talk about Paul Wolf. He's in an IFS car. He's a lot wider than the other cars, and he is just kind of barreling down there and making it stick. He'll take a left across the race line, start-finish. His first lap is a 16:54. You can go to live.ultra4racing.com to keep up with our live timing. The same thing we have here in the Project X booth.
And he is on a rail. We'll see who's going to come into that second position and how far behind are they going to be.
Paul Wolf really pushing hard right there, getting a little bit of hang time. What a great shot up the Brannock Hill. Paul Wolf making this thing happen. Remember, 2 weeks ago, that thing had Flintstone horsepower. He had to put the motor back together in this car and his Can-Am, so he's been in the shop the last week to make it happen. He got second in yesterday's. We'll see what happens today.
Yes, and you were talking about width on his car. He was saying he thinks he's the widest 4400 out here. He said he's pushing about 96 inches wide. That is super wide.
And there was a couple spots that when JT and I were making the course, it's like, this is going to be tight, but this is woods racing. Right. And Paul Wolf, he said, we were talking, he's like, I know exactly which 2 trees you were talking about. He's like, why didn't you just take them out? I was like, this is woods racing, buddy. As Paul Wolf heads back out into the woods, he'll be heading up Trail 69, and he is making it happen. But he'll come into our next camera screen here in just a moment. And there comes
sliding all the way down that hill.
That's Philip Jilton on that next little downhill, so he's about a minute behind Paul Wolf. We'll see when timing comes around. But Philip Jilton and Dr. Amanda Ross and that Jimmy Shelton are making it happen. So it looks like 1 minute behind here, Pam.
Yeah, so physically still second on course.
But remember, this race is on adjusted time. Right. What a great race. They took off one at a time every 30 seconds. We got 17 cars out on course. And, yeah, Paul Wolf is 1 minute faster on lap number 1. So if we can do roughly 8 laps, I'm going to say probably 10 laps as Josh Blyler, the former King of the Hammers winner, who's won this race the last 2 years. Can he pull off a three-peat? I think he's going to be sneaking up there with Paul Wolf. It's going to be really close.
No, he came through with an 18:05, so he is about almost 6 seconds slower than Paul Wolf. But it is a long race. It's a 2-hour race plus a lap. Anything can happen. You never know. Last year, Josh Blyler and Paul Wolf, they were battling it out, going back and forth, on timing of who was first and second. And he definitely had a bad race last year. Paul Wolf did.
Here comes Cody Hardesty around the start-finish line. He got an 18:05, so identical to Josh Blyler. So third place is within 0.2 of a second. How great is that? Wow. After 18 minutes of racing, 0.2 of a second splits Cody Hardesty and Josh Blyler. And remember, Josh Blyler has been around this sport for a very long time and is super fast. But Cody Hardesty and Chris Wyatt riding shotgun are really on his tails. I love seeing these low-name teams doing some great things out there racing with the big boys.
Making it up that hill with no issues at all. These guys have the larger tires, the more horsepower. They shouldn't have any problems going up any of these hills today, even though we have all the mud.
It's going to be interesting, but I assume by about lap 5 and 6, this is going to be absolutely a great track. And that's Philip Jilton coming up trail number 69. We'll see which either or he comes. If he comes straight at us, that's the little tougher but more direct, and he does. If you took a right there, that's that either or. But he's going to do a little side hilling. Oh, here comes somebody else down the hill. That's going to be Cade Rod, I believe, in that single-seat Jimmy's chassis. Looks like that car, he's been blasting every mud hole out there, but those Nitto tires are still sticking down and really putting it through the paces.
Now,
Remember,
is he riding a co-driver? It didn't look like he had a co-driver in there.
I guarantee he doesn't because this is a single-seat car.
I knew that.
As he hits the little this little ski jump there as he blows by the Amsoil hot pits. This is going to be a fun race to watch. These cars are going to start getting harder and harder to tell apart. So make sure you go to live.ultra4racing.com to keep up with the live timing. And there is Tad Dowker, number 906, coming down in that Trent Fab solid axle machine. So that'll put him physically in 6th position. We'll see how it is on adjusted time.
And Tad Dowker, he was racing earlier on. I can't remember who he was in with Cody St. Clair. So he had some good seat time earlier on today.
There's Chris Branton and Ryan Webb riding shotgun. And the happy pappy Rusty Blyler. And look, he's only got one headlight, so we'll be able to tell Rusty Blyler and Josh Blyler very similar. So Chris Branton getting chased down by the happy pappy Rusty Blyler. He's got one of the Erdmans riding shotgun with him. And they are going to be battling. This is going to be a good one. I do believe Rusty Blyler is going to be pushing, trying to get on Chris Branton's tail. Can he pass him going up the Brannick bump? This is going to be a horsepower show out.
And it looks like they're taking the same line going up.
Rusty Blyler has been racing in the woods for a very long time, so he loves the tight trees. And there's an either-or coming up. They're going to take a left, and then there's kind of a wider that's more direct, and then you can cut them off. We'll see how it shakes out, but there's going to be lots of behind-the-scenes action. I can't wait to see some of this GoPro footage.
Yeah, on that camera angle right there, it's going to be fun to see and watch which one goes on the left and which one goes on the right. And, yes, I'm sorry Tad Dowker was with Woody Rose earlier.
Having some fun out course. And speaking of them, there he is, Tad Dowker, pushing strong. So is Woody Rose riding with him during this race? I'm not sure.
You know what? I did not ask if he was getting in with him.
I would kind of guess that. Oh, look. So Rusty Blyler does get around Chris Branton. So Rusty Blyler making a pass before he dips into the woods. They're right there at the start of Trail 69. So that was a great, great battle. And there's Tad Dowker horsepowering up the hill just in front of Chris Branton and Rusty Blyler. There goes, was that Jonathan Dawes, I believe? Yeah, he's got that big orange triangle on the back. And then that was Philip McGilton.
There's action all over the race course today. And that's right there.
This is going to be Chad Hunt, I believe, coming down with Rick. No, that's a Blyler.
That's Blyler. That's Rusty Blyler right there.
Oh, so I was calling that wrong earlier. That must have been, is that Casey Gilbert? That was Casey Gilbert I was calling. I do apologize. So Casey Gilbert got around Chris Branton at this little either-or at the top of Trail 69. So those Miller Motorsports cars are going to get really hard to tell who's who. So Casey Gilbert's the one with a single headlight. There is Rusty Blyler, the happy pappy. There goes Roger King up the Spider Tracks backstretch.
So right now our fastest lap time has been put down by Paul Wolf at a 16:54.
And he's over a minute faster than everybody else as we see Chip McLaughlin finishing his first lap. And a lot of people have given him a hard time about pinballing off some trees, but the car still looks like it's in good shape. And there's Chad Hunt, another Miller Motorsports chassis, with his buddy Rick Murray riding shotgun. We saw his son Caden Hunt racing in the single seat. We brought him in the Project X booth earlier today and had a fun little chat with him. And there is Chip McLaughlin, the class clown of Ultra 4 Racing, making it up the Brannick bump.
He definitely is not lacking any horsepower. You can hear him with our headphones on inside of a trailer pinning it to get up that hill.
There goes Philip No, that is Cody Hardesty, sorry. The 408 heading down the Yukon launch, and he is really pushing hard.
Those rear number plates are really awesome to see on these cars. Not all of them have it, but that just helped us out right there. You weren't sure exactly which car number that was. And they are coming down that hill that they were just showing right there is Chip. Nope, no, that's Rusty Blyler going up Trail 69.
And here comes that either or right here where you can come straight at us or take the right. I guarantee he's coming straight at us.
It's a little bit slippery right there.
So the first couple cars weren't too bad, and it's getting worse. There's a Dan Dunn in that Jimmy's car. Look at this hill. This is just before the race line finish. The race line finish line, and it's going to be. It's getting slicker and slicker in some of these spots. You just saw Rusty Blyler fighting. Now we see Dan Dunn fighting a little bit, but he has made it happen, doing a little Austin Powers backing up and forth, but making it happen.
It's a little bit slippery when he came down that hill. You could tell he had to turn around because it was, probably kicked him the wrong way. But let's see what his time was. A 21:09. So far, so good. All tires are all aired up. No one's had any flats. You're doing math in your head, Miles. What do you think?
I was doing some math. I was looking for Paul Wolf. I suspect to see him in about 7 or 8 minutes as Fancy Pants Dan Dunn heading up the Brannick bump. So it's a great race that's coming together. And look how dusty it is right here. But then look how muddy it is in other spots. It's absolutely insane. As we see Tad Dowker heading down the Yukon launch. Here comes Kevin Porterfield's car, driven by Adam Woodley. Kyle Hathaway riding shotgun in that wide-open design, 2-seat IFS machine with a huge horsepower engine. He'll take a hard left and cross the race line start-finish. Getting a little slideways there, having some fun. It's been a while since he's been behind the seat. He's the mind behind wide-open design, owner-operator, and builds a lot of beautiful machines that come out here and do a lot of trail riding, a lot of racing, a lot of rock bouncing. He's built an empire out there. Wide Open Designs has a couple cars out here racing. We've got a couple Jimmy's cars, a UFO, a lot of Miller Motorsports chassis cars. Is that Casey Gilbert, I believe?
It's hard to tell, Miles. They are all brown.
They're getting brown. Thank goodness we do have our trackers. So go to live.ultra4racing.com to check that out. There's Dan Dunn coming through Trail 69.
That is a very steep, slippery slope right there. That whole entire trail is definitely a difficult one to go up. We were going up course marking in it the other day, and I was surprised at how, we made it up there.
And it was dry.
But yeah, no, it's a very... It's a skill. You need skill.
And a huge wheel stand. So before they were able to kind of side hill that, there is a little waterfall section right up the gut. But earlier they had the traction could stay uphill, but now it's muddy and they're sliding over and hitting that little waterfall. And now there's a big tree. He's trying to get up and around. He's showing off the horsepower, but just can't quite make the traction happen.
And you saw when he was backing up that first time, he literally was on the brakes and just completely sliding down.
And here is an either or, so I suspect he's going to put her back in drive and take a right here.
Except it's super slippery right there.
When in doubt, throttle out. He's giving her another run. We'll see if he can bring up. And Adam Woodley's going to be behind him.
Almost to the top.
Dan Dunn does able to make it up and out. So is Woodley going to follow that trail or go to the right? Here comes Jonathan Dawes coming down in that Trent Fab machine. It's his first race in that car. He used to race with us, took a little bit of time off, but great to see him back here racing with Team Indiana. There's Paul Wolf, our physical race leader at the Spider Tracks backstretch, and he is on the gas.
Yes, when he hit that little thing, it bunny hopped him in the back end, but definitely on the gas. He's going to have the fast lap time so far today. I'm sure he's going to push it the whole entire time as well.
So there is Adam Woodley horsepowering up the hill, making it happen. What a great race. Here comes Roger King, possibly. That's at the top of the start-finish line. Dropping his way down this super steep. As soon as you cross, you just got to go with it.
You know who we haven't seen yet is Troy Digby. And Brian McVeigh.
Yep, so we should still see a few of them. Remember, they did take off one at a time every 30 seconds. This race is on adjusted time. It is an 8-mile loop. They'll race for 2 hours plus 1 lap. So right around that 2-hour mark, the white flag will be out.
And all the drivers have been taking that left-hand turn when they get down that very steep hill because it's very slippery down there before they get on the gas and going through that jump. And there's that little ski jump that you were talking about.
That was that Chip McLaughlin maybe coming down through there. I did miss it. I do apologize. Lots of action out on course. These cars were battling the dust yesterday. Now they're battling the mud. I think they'll be battling a little bit of both today.
One thing about yesterday, though, was just qualifying. They had one small loop to do.
Everybody qualified yesterday. Then we had the stock class in the morning, the UTVs in the afternoon, and then the youth in the evening. So it's been a great weekend of racing, and it is not over yet.
No, it is not. 2 hours plus 1 lap. Those 2 hours can be very long, or they're going to go by super fast.
Talking about super fast, there's Philip McGilton going by. Coming back into screen is Jonathan Dawes. If you are just tuning in, we thoroughly appreciate each and every one of you. This is the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. I am Miles Hasquist alongside Mrs. Pam Hall, and this is Ultra 4 USA Racing at its finest. There's Roger King. Heading back around, he'll take a hard right here and head towards Trail 69. Roger King has been racing with us since, I believe, 2012 when they first introduced the Everyman Challenge cars, which we saw just race earlier this morning. And a great shot of the aerial view. This place is absolutely amazing here at Rush Off-Road. Over 7,000 acres, over 100 miles of trails. They're open 7 days a week, so anybody can come out here except for on big weekends like this and come out and racing. There was a Miller car. I couldn't quite tell who that was.
Casey Gilbert, possibly. Well, we know it's a Miller car, but definitely on the gas right there. So Paul Wolf should be coming in very soon here into the start-finish line shortly.
I believe that was Josh Blyler that came through there at the pace he was doing, because on course physically it's Paul Wolf, Philip McGilton, and Josh Blyler. Looks like Roger King struggling a little bit in Trail 69. We are 33 minutes into this 2-hour race plus a lap, so we'll see if Roger King can make his way up. But it has been an amazing weekend of racing, and we still have some great shows tonight. We'll be doing some America Pro Rock racing on the OG Bacon Hills. Will be 2 hills with combined times with over 20,000 in cash prizes will be handed out in a few different classes. We'll have the UTVs, the rail buggies, and the rock bouncers. Is this our physical race leader? Yes, it is. That is Mr. Paul Wolf coming up and over. And look, he's starting to blow. He's starting to get that little angle, so he is really, really making it happen. Paul Wolf, our physical race leader, what kind of time does he going to have?
Oh, wow, 17. So that one was a 17:12.311. So it's a little bit slower than his last lap, but he still has the fastest lap of the day so far at a 16:54.
But he's still staying pretty consistent. He is out front. We call it clean air, but everybody has some clean air today. But the thing he doesn't have yet is lap traffic, and we just saw Roger King struggling about 2 minutes ahead of him. So did Roger King get through that area? Paul Wolf is going to start clipping up some lap traffic.
We did see Benji. Oh, there we go. There's a clear course, so he will have a clean Trail 69 as soon as he gets to it.
But he will be catching Roger King. Paul
Yes.
Wolf is on a mission. He's on the gas and making it happen. He's putting those Nitto tires to work, giving it all the traction he can get.
But we do have 11 either-ors out there, so if he gets behind him at one point, 11 either-ors on an 8-mile course, so he'll have one coming up soon.
A great shot of there is Tad Dowker on that Spider Tracks backstretch. I love how you get right in the middle. It gives you that little donkey kick and just jump right up. And they're back to our physical race leader, Mr. Paul Wolf, the number 1018. It looks like all 4 tires, all 4 race line wheels are holding up great, and he is putting them through the paces.
And he is using all of the racetrack.
It's a little pinball out there from time to time. And it sounds like we could have a little bit of weather coming out. Sounds like a little sprinkle is starting to happen. So if it's a little sprinkle, it's okay. If it turns into a big sprinkle, it's going to turn to ice like they were talking about earlier. They said the first couple laps was absolutely slick out there as Paul Wolf is on trail 69.
Having no issues. I wonder what line he's been taking.
He's going to come
right
straight
now.
at us, I promise.
There you go.
And he takes that lower line and just... There's Philip McGilton, physical second place. So he's about 2.5 minutes behind Paul Wolf, I believe. But they did take off 30 seconds behind him. So we'll see what it is on adjusted time. Oh, he's reeled in some. So Philip McGilton is only about 30 seconds behind, I believe.
And his last lap was a 17:41.999. Oh, that was a nice little bunny hop at the end of the hill of the Brannick bump.
Putting that Jimmy's car through its paces. Philip McGilton really pushing strong, trying to chase down Mr. Paul Wolf. So that should be Josh Blyler in that Miller Sports car coming down the hill. We'll see if he kind of starting to curve off. Oh, he goes down a little ways.
So he's going back to the original hill that we were using this morning, but we had to cut it out earlier because of the safety, because we had a car that had rolled right there at it. And Josh Blyler just came through with a 17:57.957. He's still sitting in that third position on corrected time unofficially.
So physical and adjusted time is 1, 2, 3. Paul Wolf, Philip McGilton, and Josh Blyler. So Josh Blyler and Paul Wolf really battled out last year, but right now Philip McGilton's right in the mix, putting on. So we got a pretty tight race for the top 3. But remember, Cody Hardesty was right on their tail. How far back is he? Cody Hardesty has Chris Wyatt riding shotgun with him. He does a lot of tuning on the shocks for us. And there's, just a small drizzle. We'll see if it picks up much more than that. It's going to be interesting. There goes Philip McGilton up trail 69. This is our first little wood section that gets really tight and technical. You can't see the rocks because they're covered in mud, but there was a pretty cool little area. Philip McGilton used to be an NASCAR Truck Series driver. He kind of retired from that and stepped into Ultra 4, so it's really cool to see everybody's backgrounds, to see where they came from. But, hey, a steering wheel's a steering wheel.
Exactly. You know, there's a lot of different things out here that people have done. So he used to race NASCAR. We have engineers. We have all kinds of different careers that these gentlemen race. But the Miller Motorsports chassis, I mean, they build. Look at that. There's 3 of them out here on this course right now.
4 of them. We got both
right.
Blylers, Gilbert, and Chad Hunt.
Speaking of Chad Hunt, I haven't.
No,
seen
that's
him.
Cody Hardesty coming down the hill. So that's our physical 4th. So Cody Hardesty and Chris Wyatt still pushing strong in that number 408 TMR chassis machine. So it is 3 solid axles chasing down this IFS up front. And IFS, independent front suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and somebody's
right by him.
Cade Rod is right behind Cody Hardesty, but on adjusted time, Cade Rod does have Cody on time. So is Cade Rod going to be able to reel in Cody Hardesty, and where is he going to pass? But Cade is starting to push. Remember, to finish first you must finish, and they are going to be pushing all the way till the end of this 2-hour-long race. We are racing right now for 40 minutes, so we got about an hour and 20 minutes before that white flag will come out, and we'll have one final lap.
And there's Paul Wolf right there.
At the Yukon launch section. Spare tires still on the back. Everything seems like it's going picture perfect for Paul Wolf. Paul Wolf yesterday had a little bit of a rough start. Got behind somebody that rolled, had to back up, kind of got stuck, so lost a couple of positions, then took a wrong either-or and had to really battle. And then at that last lap, Paul Wolf did what Paul Wolf does best and laid it down. Couldn't quite chase down Kyle Cheney, but did get ahead of Jay Shaw. So Paul Wolf is going to be pushing hard all the way to the finish. It's going to be a fun one to watch. This is going to be a nail biter. There we go. That is that Cody. No, that's Cody Hardesty coming up. That's Trail 69.
It's definitely hard to see their numbers.
Oh, gets on two wheels. Does a little bit of bicycle, but was able to save it.
Little slipping and a sliding through there.
And then there's Cade Rod. Is he going to come straight at us? This could be a great pass. Hopefully we can stick with this shot, and he's going to be hopefully getting around Cody Hardesty. So Cade Rod, is he going to be able to sneak in front of him?
That was a great shot right there of him bumping and bouncing up that hill.
There's Tad Dowker coming behind. And we're speculating that Woody Rose is riding shotgun with him. There's Casey Gilbert with the single headlight up front coming down. Casey Gilbert and Nature Boy Nate coming down the hill. He'll be heading out for another lap and getting completely sideways right there, showing off his horsepower and really ripping as he hits a little ski jump, blowing by the Amsoil hot pits. Chris Branton coming up right behind him. Chris Branton and Ryan Webb swapped seats, swapped cars. They raced earlier today. They're great buddies, and they love it coming out here to race. Switching back to Casey Gilbert. Does a little wheel stand up the Brannick bump.
No better than seat time racing earlier on and getting back in it, because I've going through yesterday and they were in the race car doing their pre-running and whatnot. Different conditions. The track is completely different today than it was yesterday. Or the day before.
And, yeah, there's no better pre-run than to pre-run at race pace. So they both got to see the track for an hour and a half earlier today, and now they're in a 2-hour race. Chris Branton and Ryan Webb heading up the Brannick bump.
So we are 42 minutes into this race. We have a 2-hour plus 1 lap race. And it's going to be a race to the finish. These guys are all on it. I think what's going to happen, too, is, all this mud is going to come into play at some point whenever they do start going to those either-ors. And Paul Wolf is, like you were saying earlier, he's going to start coming into lap traffic.
Yeah, lap traffic will start to becoming an issue. I missed who that was, but that's the Yukon launch, and somebody's moving. That could have been our physical race leader, Paul Wolf. There is Adam Woodley heading up. And now we are back to Casey Gilbert heading up Trail 69. Lots of action out on course. There goes Dan Dunn. Back to Casey Gilbert of that easy. Oh, he kissed the tree, but he's going to have to back up a little bit. Casey Gilbert trying to make it up, and look how slick it's getting there. Oh, the left front tire gets light, but he's able to keep her on all fours.
Oh, and we have some traffic coming up.
Right. I believe that's going to be Dan Dunn right behind. No. That's Chris Branton right behind him.
And that's where, do you have Chris Branton give you a little bit of a push behind you?
There is the Happy Pappy Rusty Blyler in his Miller Motorsports chassis. He's got Shane Erdman riding shotgun with him. There's Chris Branton and Ryan Webb. Putting those USD stickies to work with a huge wheel stand, able to keep her down. Is he going to have to back up and try to give her a little bump? And look at the tree right there. It's got some bark missing. There's some bumping and grinding out there on course. Those big trees do not move an inch.
No, they do not move. And let's see if he's going to back up and take that right hand. There's Chad Hunt right there, the 456.
Team Indiana handing up the Brannick bump. Stan Haynes is in their pits, making sure everything is going smooth.
Making it look nice and easy going up that Brannick bump.
I hear a lot of horsepower out there, and it is going to be a dogfight to the finish. This is the Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash, and it is a lot of fun. I believe that was Cody Hardesty. These cars are starting to look all the same. So be sure to go to live.ultra4racing.com for the live timing.
And that is Rusty Blyler right there, getting ready to enter into that Trail 69. Lots of water right there at the entrance of that.
Doing a little trick maneuvering with the drone. They're having some fun, bringing you some great coverage from the middle of Rush, Kentucky. It's going to be a battle down to the wire. It's going to be a race to the finish. It's going to be so much fun, and it looks like Raceline Wheels is throwing away some swag. So, again, a huge shout-out to Raceline Wheels. Greg Mulkey's up there throwing some stuff around to everybody here in Rush, Kentucky. Again, this is the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash, and Raceline Wheel is hooking up the crowd.
And there we have.
Throwing away some hats.
Yes, we have Greg and Nick up there giving away some swag. You guys don't want to miss out on that. Awesome swag out there for everybody.
Who doesn't like some free stuff? Raceline's been here all weekend long, helping everybody out, helping the racers, helping the fans, and just really bringing it together. So it's great to see the support that Raceline brings us here at Ultra 4 USA. There's a great little fight between a couple Miller cars, it looked like. So thanks again to Raceline Wheels. Always taking care of the racers and the fans. The real boss getting hooked up with a beanie. It's a great spectator area right in front of the Jumbotron. You can watch the start-finish line. You can see the Brannick bump off to their behind them on their right. It's a very spectator-friendly race here.
We showed up here this morning, and there were already people that had put some chairs out because they wanted to make sure they had a pristine spot tonight. We'll have, another event going on, and definitely giving out some more swag over there. They're getting it out of their totes and throwing it out to everybody. You can see right there we have Nitto. He's been out here all week long. Our Mid-America Outdoors merchandise trailer. Raceline and Warren is right there to the right.
There is Paul Wolf, our physical race leader. Look at him getting a little donkey kick to the right. He is pushing hard. And there is Kevin Porterfield, driven by Adam Woodley, coming down the right before the steep downhill before the race line start finish. But Paul Wolf is really, really pushing. He is hungry. And he has got the fastest lap with a 16:54, and that was his first lap, if I remember correctly.
You push it and you push it and you push it, but he knows where everybody's at. So maybe he's going to, let off just a little bit. And then if he needs to, towards the end of the race, because it's saving the car in between the laps, save it till the end to really pin it, to win it.
And I haven't seen anybody head into the Amsoil hot pits. Woodley's heading up the Brannick bump. Having some fun out here in Rush, Kentucky. We've been racing for 48 minutes out of 2 hours. At 2 hours, the white flag comes out, and we'll do one more lap. And there's a great shot of the Amsoil hot pits, and everybody's just chilling. And that's what they hope they can do, because you don't want to work there. That means you're having problems. You're not winning the race.
And fortunately, we haven't had anybody have to come through. That looked like it is Chip McLaughlin.
Maybe
or
Chris Branton, I believe. Those two cars are very similar. And there's somebody stuck on course.
Cannot quite see who that is.
I can see a Raceline wheel on that right rear of the car, but that's about all I can tell.
Look at the front. Can you tell who the front is? You can see like the shocks.
Okay, that could be Roger King possibly. I'm just speculating, but the driver is getting out of the car, it looks like. And I haven't seen Roger in a little bit. So it looks like he is a little bit off course there at Trail 69. Remember, we saw him struggling right here, so maybe he did take the little bypass to get out of everybody's way so he wasn't plugging up the trail.
That was when Paul Wolf was getting ready to come by. That's whenever we were talking about that earlier.
And there goes Adam Woodley. We'll see if he comes straight at us or takes the right, either or. It takes a lot of horsepower right now to come up the hill, and it looks like he's going to come at us. We'll see if he can make it up this either or. Getting all over the skinny pedal, kissing that tree, and makes it look pretty easy as he slides down into the little rut right there and makes it up and out, Trail 69.
It kind of looks like, it's whatever way that they end up getting bounced to because it's so slippery.
There goes Chad Hunt down the Yukon launch. We got some great coverage out here, lots of action. We've got 17 cars out on course, but I haven't seen much out of Brian McVeigh or Troy Digby. They have not finished their first lap. Brian McVeigh, I really thought he'd do some good. We saw Troy Digby miss his last race, so he's like, hey, can I race the 4,400? Because you can race up. You just can't race down. So it was great to see him take back off, but he was having mechanical issues. I wonder if that went ahead and bit him.
Looks like we have somebody coming down right there. Nice little sliding down.
It's going to be Jonathan Dawes, I believe. He's got that little orange triangle on the back that's trying to stay on. So far, so good. So this is the debut race for Jonathan Dawes. He's raced with us in the past, but took a few years off. But he's part of Team Indiana. He's out here having fun.
And his lap just now was a 51.542.
And he's got Corey Day riding shotgun with him, who's rode in 2 other races. So he's got a great co-driver that knows this track well. And a good co-driver goes a very long way. And let's talk about that. Paul Wolf does not have a co-driver. Cade Rod does not have a co-driver. So for navigation, or if you have a tire issue, that's definitely a disadvantage. But it's lighter weight. The center of the car, you have more visibility with a single-seater. It's just kind of personal preference. But that's why unlimited racing is why I love it so much, is because you build what you want and you race it.
Exactly. And Paul Wolf, he has the course in his brain. It's embedded in his brain because he raced yesterday as well.
And Paul Wolf is on screen as we talk. He's dropping down that little hill, and the number 1018 will get a lap time from him, but Paul Wolf is really pushing strong. Looks like a 17:28, so he's being pretty consistent. And I know Chris Hickman's in his ear saying, hey, you're in the lead. You've got the lead. You got about a minute right there, so drive hard, but drive smart. We're about at the halfway mark, so keep on keeping on, but don't tear up the car. And then I've also heard him say, hey, you're a minute behind. Send it. So we'll see what happens towards the end of the race. But right now, Paul Wolf has got it right where he wants it. And look at those Nitto tires hooking up.
He's getting a little bit slower on each lap, but like you were just saying, Chris Hickman's probably in his ear telling him where he's at. He'll send it at the end if he has to. He'll pick it up towards the end if he has to. Right now, save the car, and then at last lap or two, go from there if you need to pick it up or not. Because right now it's all about a timing. It's not a lap count. It is a 2-hour plus a lap race. So that's where they're going to play the game of when he needs to pick it up.
And there's a great shot coming to our physical race leader, Paul Wolf, as the drone's going to chase him around. And this will head us right up into Trail 69. And look how wide this corner is becoming. Because it's so slick, they're just hitting it and making it happen. We'll switch back. Looks like that was going to be Jonathan Dawes. So Paul Wolf's going to run into some more lap traffic. As there goes Tad Dowker, and he's going to hit that little bump. There it goes. Looking good, looking smooth on the Spider Track back stretch for Tad Dowker.
It almost looks like right in front of where they keep doing that little bunny hop, it almost looks like it's getting rutted out right there, and that's kicking them just a little bit more.
So physical second place is Philip McGilton with Amanda Ross riding shotgun, sliding down the hill. He'll take a hard left. Now this is that super steep section that we made up on that last race. So take a hard left across and grab another lap.
You know who we haven't seen? We have not seen Chip McLaughlin come through here.
Pam, look at this, though. Paul Wolf with a 17:28 and Philip McGilton with a 17:25. So he picked up 3 seconds over Paul Wolf. He's still behind him by about a minute, but McGilton's really starting to push.
And Philip McGilton just made it up that hill on the gas, super hard, going up, getting ready to go down, and he'll make it left, and then let's do another tight right into Trail 69. Great overview right there with the drone.
That is going to be Josh Blyler, physical third. We'll see where it puts him out on adjusted time. Yep, so physical and on adjusted time. It's Paul Wolf, Philip McGilton, and then Josh Blyler. And it looks like 14 seconds faster than Paul Wolf's last lap. Josh Blyler is really starting to push up. So Paul Wolf, this is one of those deals where you're leading the race, but you can't see the guy behind you. The guy behind you can see your dust, so you don't know how hard to push. That's where the communications with some of these rugged race radios really comes into play. So you can be in communication with your team. They can give you split times. But so Josh Blyler and Philip Magilton are starting to turn it up. Paul Wolf's playing it safe, but he has to know that they're coming for him.
Well, and that's where it comes in key to have somebody in your ear on your radios, because now he'll find out he needs to probably pick up his game and not slack on this lap at all.
There's Philip Magilton coming up trail 69, but still the fastest lap was set for lap number 1 for Paul Wolf with that 16:54. He takes that harder left line, but makes it look pretty easy. So Philip Magilton and Amanda Ross having some fun out there on course in that Jimmy's chassis, 2-seat, solid axle machine. You can see that marker right there at the bottom of your screen, orange backer with a black arrow, and that's how we mark course out here at Ultra 4 USA. And if you see 2 arrows on a tree, that's one of the either-ors, and it just kind of keeps you in direction. We do race with GPS, but we have the arrows out there, because some people don't run GPS. We give you a file for it.
And that's exactly where we were talking earlier about Paul Wolf. He raced yesterday. He has the course embedded in his brain.
Got it memorized.
Memorized, exactly. So he does not run a GPS out here when he is out racing these shorter courses like this.
And that was Josh Blyler that just cruised by, and he took that right line there in trail 69. We've got 2 drones right around this area, and then we have 3 stick cameras out back. There is Cade Rod. Look, these cars are all brown. It's getting harder to tell who's who, but Cade Rod just had another great lap, a 17:31. So everybody's being consistent right now, right around that 17 to 17:30 mark. So it's going to be an absolute drag race to the finish.
Well, consistency is key, and smooth is fast.
That could have been Troy Digby that we haven't seen. So maybe he had a mechanical out on course, was able to get it fixed, because he has not finished a lap yet. But if I saw it correctly, that could have been him.
Yes, Brian McVeigh and Troy Digby both. And right there, that is Mr. Paul Wolf right now going down the Yukon launch.
And then Chris Branton at the Spider Tracks backstretch. So Paul Wolf is physically out front and on adjusted time. Looks like that's Tad Dowker being followed by Cody Hardesty, I believe. So Tad Dowker and Cody Hardesty are neck and neck as they cross the race line, start-finish. What a great, he's giving her all he's got, and he's trying to chase down Tad Dowker as they hit the little ski jump, bypassing the Amsoil hot pits. And then he'll take a left here and head up the Brannock bump. Remember, there's about 3 or 4 different lines here, but the favorite is right where Tad's going right now, so I assume Cody Hardesty is going to follow him up there because there's not really enough time to pass. He's really wanting to just get on his tail because there's 11 either-ors out in the woods, and he needs to take advantage of those right now.
You can see right there after he did that little bit of a bump, it's getting a little bit rutted out right there and softer, and that definitely hurts you on your horsepower.
As Cade Rod comes into screen up trail 69, we'll see if he comes straight at us or takes the right either or. I assume he's going to come straight at us. And he does. Is he going to go up and around the tree or try to side hill it? And he comes towards us around the tree. That is the safest line right there and the quickest. And the dirt is starting to come together, this track. Look, you can see the sun shining. That was Cody Hardesty, I believe, pushing hard. Where was Tad Dowker? Is he still in front of him? Has to push this corner a little bit. And when I talk about pushing, it's because all 4 tires are locked up individually. Or they're all locked together. So sometimes when you're making those corners, they all just want to push to the outside. If you had an open rear end, it would kind of let you dance a little bit. But we need traction. So all 4 tires are pushing all the time.
And that is also like a little off-camber right-hand turn as well.
There is Tad Dowker. And there's Philip Magilton.
And look at that. We actually had a driver take that right hand.
So right now, if I was Cody Hardesty, I'd come right up the gut and try to get her up. Nope, he does follow him.
They're both taking that right-hand turn right there.
So Cody Harsey trying to chase down Tad Dowker, but they've got a good little battle out on course. Right now, it's all about Paul Wolf. Oh, there's somebody coming across. He'll be taking that super steep left here in just a moment once he gets a little closer into screen. That is Casey Gilbert with that single headlight, I can tell, on that Miller Motorsports chassis. Him and Nature Boy Nate are out there pushing strong. Sitting in that 7th spot right now. We'll see how he does when he crosses the line.
He kind of had a little bit of a red, white, and blue.
So Casey Gilbert on adjusted time and on physical is in that 7th position. And we do have, that is part of Roger King's team. That's Justin Cowart. That's where Roger King is broke there in Trail 69. This is a no-chase race, so only a fellow driver or your co-driver can run back to pits. So he's in the Amsoil hot pit. So right now they can talk about it. What parts do I need? So he can strap on fuel, he can strap on tools, and then run back in the woods. It's only, about 500 yards? Only. That's further than I want to run in a full race suit. He did leave his helmet, so he is anticipating grabbing some tools and some parts. Maybe just a couple zip ties.
Zip ties and duct tape. That is key to always have on your cars, and we were joking about it the other day with some racers. But good job by that co-driver running back in, getting whatever they need to get back on course.
So give Justin Cowart, Roger King's co-driver, a round of applause. He's running up there trying to keep in this race. Obviously, they're out of contention for the lead, but it's Ultra 4. You want to go. You want to make the laps, and they're going to do everything they can to make it happen. So Justin Cowart's just at the bottom of our screen. You can't quite see him, but that's where Casey Gilbert's going right now, is towards Roger King up there in Trail 69. Oh, Justin's right back for some more tools. Or maybe he's taking it. Okay, he's going to take a little bit of a shortcut. So Trail 69 is basically straight through those trees. But he's also trying to stay off course to stay safe as well.
Exactly.
As Casey Gilbert's coming up Trail 69. So where Justin Cowart, the co-driver's coming, Roger King is going to be to our right about now up that little bypass trail sitting off the line. And there is Chris Branton coming down, him and Ryan Webb. He'll be clicking off another lap.
We still have not seen Chip McLaughlin come in, Chad Hunt, Kevin Porterfield, and where is Rusty Blyler?
Jonathan Dawes, we saw him a little bit ago, so they're still moving. I believe that was Cade Rod by the looks of his rear lights. Back to Christopher Branton. Those USD stickies are really helpful on a mud race like this. Those things are big, they are meaty, and they are nasty.
They are definitely recognizable. That's how we can tell who he is out there on race course when it's muddy like this, because the tires are what can, set off exactly who that is.
There went Adam Woodley driving for Kevin Porterfield up the Spider Tracks backstretch. And the hills of Kentucky. Look at the rolling hills right there. This is a beautiful park. Over 7,000 acres here in northeast Kentucky, with over 100 miles of trail system, and it just goes on forever. It is absolutely beautiful. And the dogwoods are popping. The greenery's starting to come as we see Tad Dowker heading down the Yukon launch.
Another beautiful overview of the park. There's Christopher Branton right there. And
we were talking about the USD Stickies a little bit. Christopher Branton and Ryan Webb are the co-owners of USD Stickies. So they come to debut their equipment here at Ultra 4. They want to put it through the toughest test they can, and they're going to do it here at Ultra 4 USA. Best place to test and tune all of your equipment to see what you can put it through. They do short course. They do the mud here. They do it all. It's great.
And we have roughly 57 minutes plus a lap left in this race, and it's a race to the finish.
So they've completed 3, so they're going to do 7-ish, maybe up to 8 laps here today.
And this looks like Blyler. That's Rusty Blyler, I believe.
Definitely a Miller car.
Yes, 46, Rusty Blyler.
Yep, the Happy Pappy, Rusty Blyler coming around. So that puts him on adjusted time in that 8th position, bumping Chris Branton back a spot. Remember, they did take off one at a time. And there is Chad Hunt, I believe, with that green light on the front of his car. Another Miller Motorsports chassis car. They took off the line one at a time, 30-second increments. This race is on adjusted time. It's 2 hours plus 1 lap. It's an 8-mile course, 11 either-ors, and it's got a little bit of mud mixed in between, as you can tell. Ooh, Chad Hunt's a little off pace right here. Is he going to pull into the Amsoil hot pits? If he does, he'll be taking a hard right now. There's Troy Digby, part of the 4,500 class that couldn't make his time, so he's out here racing with the big dogs. Great to see him still moving. And he does. So Chad Hunt pulls into the Amsoil hot pits, and Team Indiana's all the way down to the left. Once you enter the hot pits, it's 15 miles an hour, no passing, and you have to come in the hot pits and go all the way out the end.
He doesn't have any flats, so it has to be something mechanical going on with his race car.
They're all on the front, and I saw Stan do the brake motion, and then somebody said kill it. So they're going to turn it off. They're going to inspect the front end of that car. Hate to see what's going on there.
And it looks like Troy Digby is also going into the Amsoil hot pits.
Yeah, Troy Digby just finished his first lap, so he was definitely having some kind of mechanical issue. Tough break for him. We'll see. Oh, I think he's going back to his main pits. So tough break for Troy Digby, but it looks like he's pulling completely off course. And we go back to Rusty Blyler, the Happy Pappy, coming up, Trail 69. I wonder if Justin Cohart, Roger King's co-driver, has made it up to him. There is Jonathan Dawes at the Spider Tracks backstretch. And back to Rusty Blyler and Erdman riding shotgun. So Josh Blyler has Jared Erdman riding shotgun, and Rusty Blyler has Shane Erdman riding shotgun with him. So it's really cool to see they're two brothers that ride with a father and son. So it's definitely a tight-knit team there at Big B Motorsports. Okay, so I don't see a lot of people moving. And the driver's out. Oh, this isn't looking good. Not sure what they're going to do, but when the helmet's off, they're backing out of the way. I'm not sure what happened. We'll try to get somebody in here to tell us what happened to Chad Hunt, but it looks like they're calling it a day.
That's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate when that happens, but it's called racing, and anything can happen, and it's sad to see him pulling off the race course. And there's a great overview of the park out here at Rush, Kentucky. Miles is going to go run and get us some information from Chad. Sorry, I know. As soon as I said it, I was like, I shouldn't say that. Here we go. Oh, that's a great shot right there. I believe that was Josh Blyler hitting that little bump at the end. And that is Kevin Porterfield right there having to back up to make that right-hand turn to come down towards the start-finish line, the race line, start-finish line. And he's taken that main line that we originally had pre-ran on. And Kevin Porterfield's time coming through was a 20.06 lap. We do have Paul Wolf still in that number 1 position. Philip McJilton in that number 2. Josh Blyler 3rd. Tad Dowker 4th, Cade Rod 5th, Cody Hardesty 6th, and Casey Gilbert 7th. Those are all unofficial times. And most drivers have been taking this middle line basically, and then they do that little bump right there on the Brannick bump. And here we are, that, I believe right there, there is Christopher Branton going down the Yukon launch. And there is Mr. Paul Wolf right there coming down almost to the start-finish line, having to back up just a hair.
Paul Wolf is our physical race leader heading out for another lap. So I just ran to the Amsoil hot pits. Chad Hunt broke a kingpin on his knuckle and then clipped a tree and broke a lot more stuff. And then I saw Brian McVeigh in a golf cart in the Amsoil hot pits. I said, what are you doing in a golf cart? You're supposed to be in a race car. So there goes to show he broke his shock after he hit.
Wow.
He hit a tree after he broke his, on the passenger side, the knuckle kingpin right there is what actually broke. And then he kind of lost some steering and lost everything, and then lost control and hit a tree, and he's all over.
Is that what broke the shock off when he hit the tree?
And then I was talking to Brian McVeigh that was in that golf cart that was racing, and he lost a little control with his back axle. He clipped a tree and ripped a knuckle off. So
wow.
Brian McVeigh is out of the race. Chad Hunt is out of the race. And there's Adam Woodley still trucking along.
You can see he just hit a rock and a little bit of a white smoke from hitting the rock with those wheels, making it up that hill almost with no issues, but it's really slippery, still climbing up that area where that is a either or.
That looked like it could have been Josh Blyler heading up the Spider Tracks backstretch. But the attrition is starting to set in. Remember to finish first. First, you must finish. And we see Chad Hunt, have a mechanical and break out. There goes Rusty Blyler, I believe, down the Yukon launch.
And the last lap for Paul Wolf was a 17.6. I believe he picked it back up. And speaking of Paul, he's right there going through Trail 69.
So he's staying consistent between that 17 and 17:30. The last lap was a 17:16 for Paul Wolf, but it's, like I said, staying consistent. And Paul Wolf right up the gut there at Trail 69. He is on a mission. He's in the zone. He ran a great race yesterday and is keeping it going. There's Jonathan Dawes. And gets a huge little donkey kick, but keeps her under control. And you could see when the Ascent came up, he was on the gas. The front tires hit the ground and brought him right back down. There's Philip McGilton, physical second out on course. Jonathan, physical second just crossed the line. Philip McGilton. This is Jonathan Dawes here. I believe he's going to be down a lap. But Philip McGilton, physical second, still trying to chase down Paul Wolf. But I think we're getting a little time split of up to like 2 minutes now, if I'm doing my math right. My timing on my iPad is not working. Do you have a time split between Paul?
And there we do have a Miller Motorsports chassis right there.
So 2 minutes and 15 seconds splitting Paul Wolf and Philip McGilton. And there's our former king, Josh Blyler, coming through, making another lap. So 2 minutes and 55 seconds between Paul Wolf and Josh Blyler, and 39 seconds split Josh Blyler and Philip McGilton. So this is a great race. But, wow, it's going to be down to the wire. Paul Wolf has this race right where he wants it. But remember, he was here in this position last year and pushed too hard, and these trees will jump out and bite you, just like they did to Chad Hunt and Brian McVeigh and a long list of others.
That's been the running joke with Paul. It's like, what are you going to do this weekend? You're going to stay away from trees, right?
Well, you can't do that. You heard him talking this morning when it was really greasy out there. They were just playing pinball.
Right, exactly. We do have a little bit of a battle going on right here.
I'm going to guess that's Philip McGilton out front, and then Jonathan Dawes. So McGilton was able to get around a lapper of Jonathan Dawes, but Jonathan Dawes still driving a great race. Don't take anything from him. But Philip McGilton trying to chase down Paul Wolf, and he's going to have to give it all he's got to get there. Coming straight up the gut there and there's a great shot. So there's an either-or right there. McGilton came straight at us, and Jonathan Dawes dives off to the right.
And earlier we saw in the 4,500 and the 4,800 classes, they had to all go right. The left-hand side was too slippery for them to get up.
So Paul Wolf has really been pushing strong, but the last couple laps he lost about 30 seconds, but then really stepped it up and gained about 13 seconds back. So Paul Wolf is really pushing hard, trying to get out. And like I said, I know Chris Hickman's in the pits using his radio to let Paul know exactly where they're at. They're doing time splits between McGilton, between Blyler, and those three are probably the ones that are in contention for the podium right now. But Dowker, Kate Rod, and Hardesty, and Gilbert are still in the hunt for sure. And talking about Gilbert, that may have been him right there. That's the Spider Tracks back stretch. Here's Adam Woodley driving for Kevin Porterfield at the Yukon launch. Still pushing strong. Great to see him get out of the shop a little bit, come out here and have some fun. He's been around Ultra 4 and King of the Hammers before it was a thing. He's been off-roading for a very long time. Like I said, he's the core road behind Wide Open Designs. And great to see him building the cars and then come out here and be able to enjoy what he has built. There's Cade Rod. coming down the hill, and that single seat Jimmy's IFS chassis.
And his last lap just now coming through was an 18:12.037.
And this is a great shot. You can see the roost from those Nitto tires. You can see where it's light and dark. That's how it shows you that it could be dusty, could be a little muddy. But this course is giving you a little bit of everything. And this is a long 8 miles. Lots of skinny one track. And then there's a few wide open sections where I'm sure they're getting upwards of 75 miles an hour with minimal room on either side. And then there's sometimes where you have to come down to a crawl. You're probably going 5 miles an hour. Your tires may be going faster than that, but you're not moving very fast. There are some super steep sections out here.
And there's Tad Dowko right there. He just came through with a 17:42.654. That is his fastest lap of the day so far, so he is picking it up. He is on the gas.
And on adjusted time, he is in that 4th position, looking really good. So is he going to be able to chase down Blyler, McJilton, or Wolf? Only time will tell. There is Cody Hardesty still in the mix. These cars did take off one at a time every 30 seconds. This race is on adjusted time, but he's got a right rear flat. Cody's Hardesty, hopefully he knows he has that and pulls into the AMSOIL hot pits, because I would hate to take another lap or two. He does blow by the AMSOIL hot pits. So with it being so greasy out here, I'm wondering if he just couldn't tell. He just thinks it's not very much traction, but he does have a right rear tire that is going down. He does have a co-driver with him, so worst case they can pull over on course, but 8 miles out here in Rush, Kentucky is really tough on a right rear flat tire. I remember it was Nationals last year. Waylon Campbell was racing, and he was in contentions for the win and came through the hot pits thinking he had a flat. He didn't. Well, next time around, he thought he had a flat, but he's like, I'm sure it's in my mind. He blew by. He had a flat that time, and it cost him the race.
That's where it's really key to whenever you are coming by. If you can see your driver before they're getting to the hot pit entrance, give a little look out in the car to see if you see anything wrong, or if you might feel a flat coming down, pull on in there and get it checked out.
Here comes Tad Dowker straight at us here in Trail 69. It's going to be a race to the finish. We are an hour and 17 minutes into this 2 hours plus 1 lap. So it's really starting to come together. The attrition is starting to set in. We saw Troy Digby pull off. I know Brian McVeigh and Chad Hunt are out of the race. Roger King was pulled over for a while. Haven't seen much from Dan Dunn in a little bit, or Chip McLaughlin. We did see Jonathan Dawes still moving pretty decent.
Yes, so Chip has done 2 laps, and he has not come back around.
So Digby, McVeigh, Hunt are definitely out. Roger King, he's been stuck for a while. Not sure if he'll get moving again. But again, Dan Dunn and Chip McLaughlin, where are they at? We haven't seen much from them. So we'll try to get a little update from some of our course workers on our rugged race radios. And look at the Optima Batteries leaderboard at the top left of your screen. It can really show you where it's coming together. This is on adjusted time, and that is our last lap around. Remember, we only get a time right there at the race line start-finish. That was a Miller car. I couldn't quite tell who that was. Is that a Blyler?
I'm pretty sure it was a Blyler, because I could kind of see a little bit on the door. Not 100% on which one it is, though.
It's the brown car.
It's the brown Blyler car.
So he'll be taking a hard left right now, doing that super downhill steep drop. And then we'll see him here at the race line start-finish, and then we'll at least be able to see his ticker, which one, the timer, which one it is. I think it's going to be Rusty.
It should be Rusty for sure. And no, that is Casey Gilbert.
No, it is. You're right. That's Casey Gilbert. Another Miller car. So it's getting harder and harder to tell who's who. And Casey Gilbert does pull in the AMSOIL hot pits.
And he just threw down his fastest lap of the day as well. So he just threw down a 18:33.346.
So not sure exactly what Casey Gilbert is doing in the AMSOIL hot pits. Hopefully we can get a visual on him here in just a little bit. And there is a Blyler.
Blyler. That was definitely a Blyler.
I think that was Josh Blyler. We must have missed Paul Wolf coming through, because he should be ahead of him out front, and then Philip McJilton. So we should have our leaders come through here within the next 5 minutes.
Or that could be Rusty Blyler getting ready to come into the finish because Paul Wolf, Josh Blyler are on lap 4. Rusty is only on lap 3.
There's a lot of action out there on course as we speak. The crowd is definitely building for the 4400 Unlimited class. This is Ultra 4 racing at its finest. Unlimited horsepower, unlimited suspension. You dream it, build it, come and race it. The Swiss Army knife of off-road. I know, it's just you.
Because you can hear it through my mic. We have all of our course workers out there, all in place. You can see some of them right there. We see some of our photographers right there as well. They always get the good shots of them coming down into their turns. Karen and Foster there.
Cade Rod coming into screen at the Yukon launch section. We've got cameras all over this course, bringing you the best action we can. We have teamed up with Speed Sport for this season, and they are doing some great things for us.
And there's Casey Gilbert, got back out on course. He just must have went through the pits and just did a little look
visual
around. He, like you were saying earlier, maybe he felt like he was having a flat tire and he went in for a visual. That could be exactly what happened just now.
And you're completely right. And it's better to lose 30 seconds, probably about 30 seconds to drive through the pits to get a visual to say, hey, is this thing okay? Rather than like Cody's Hardesty didn't know he had a flat, blew by, and now that's going to cost him some time on course if he doesn't have to change it. Because if you pull in the Amsoil hot pits, your crew changes it. You stay in the car. If you're out on course, you and the co-driver have to hop out and change it yourself. There is Casey Gilbert coming up trail 69.
So, Miles, does he purposely do the one headlight so we know exactly who it is?
I highly doubt that. I mean, anything's possible. But, I think that's just one of those deals. There's a lot of mud, a lot of water out there, and maybe kiss a tree at some point.
And he just took that right line on that either or.
So we were talking about Cody Hardesty a little bit ago. There he is. I couldn't tell. I don't think he's changed it, so I think he's still on a right rear flat. Cody Hardesty and Chris Wyatt still pushing strong, so hopefully he can keep it together, and hopefully his pit crew can hear us or look at it and get him in here to the Amsoil hot pits and get him fixed up. We got another one dropping down. Christopher Branton possibly. Yes, it is the big tire on the back. Chris Branton coming through for another lap. Chris Branton comes through for another lap.
We do still have Paul Wolf out there with the fastest lap time today so far of 16.54. And there Christopher Branton's going up the Brannick bump. Using all of the horsepower that he has in his USD Sticky sponsored race car.
And I love this. It's a great view of that hill. It shows you all the different options you can make because it's an either or, but it's got 5 different options on it. And the further right you go, it's the longer but the easier. So people are usually going right up the center. Kind of a happy medium right there. Great shot of the race line start-finish area. And we've created multiple lines coming down right before that. We've definitely had to create some different lines with all the accidents we had earlier on today when it was extremely muddy this morning. But it has been an amazing weekend of racing. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in. This is the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash here in Rush, Kentucky. Chris Branton coming around, heading up towards Trail 69. Chris Branton and Ryan Webb still pushing along, sitting in that 8th position on adjusted time.
And we have roughly 44 minutes left in this race, plus a lap. Let's see if Paul Wolf is going to be able to hold on to his lead and take the win on today. So we're back onto Christopher Branton right in the middle of Trail 69. Wonder if this camera could pan right to see if Roger King is still there or if he's got moving. We'll try to keep you up to date on that here in just a little bit. But he takes the wide right section, and there comes Blyler. I believe that is Mr. Rusty Blyler right there, taking the next lap here going through, and it looks like he's slowing up just a little bit. He might be coming into the Amsoil hot pits.
He's coming to a complete stop. Not sure. I don't think he meant to do that. What is happening there? Did it pop out of gear? Did the ignition get bumped? Is he getting a little bit of mud or water in some of an electrical connection? We're speculating, obviously. Okay, and there is Roger King, still stopped on course right in the middle of Trail 69, off course.
Off course.
So we saw Justin Cowart run back to the Amsoil hot pits, grab some tools, and they're unable to get it going yet. There is the happy Pappy Rusty Blyler hammering up the Brannock bump. Showing off some of that horsepower. There goes back to Casey Gilbert as he goes down the Yukon launch. This has been a great race, a lot of fun. This is woods racing at its finest. A lot of steep elevation, a little bit of mud. Today is a lot of bit of mud, and then those deep ruts, 8-mile course, 11 either-ors, is throwing everything we can at them.
But we have to be very thankful for the sunshine coming out, drying up the track just a little bit in some of the areas.
Almost had a head-on collision with Rusty Blyler in the drone, but he was sitting there waiting, and now we'll chase him down. What a great shot that was. That was really cool. This whole production team is doing an amazing job for bringing this around. Like I said, when I got here a week ago, I could barely send a text, and they're bringing you a live show from the middle of Rush, Kentucky. There's Jonathan Dawes still cruising along with Corey Day riding shotgun. So we should be seeing Paul Wolf here in just a little bit, and there he is, getting a little chatter through the Rugged Race Radio. Paul Wolf, our physical race leader, and on adjusted time, coming through to kick off another lap. He's heading out for lap 5.
And that lap was a 17:27.787. He is definitely staying very, very consistent. His fastest lap was first lap of the day, 16:54.654. But we have to see, is he going to pick it up? Because we're getting down. We are at a hour and 26 minutes of our race so far. We have 41 minutes left plus a lap. Is he going to continue to stay in that number 1 spot? Because we know that Philip McJilton, Josh Blyler, Tad Dowker, Cade Ryder, they're all like gunning it right now, pushing it to try to beat Paul Wolf.
But you nailed it right there, Pam. Smooth is consistent. Consistent is smooth. So if he can keep it right in that happy medium, he's keeping it within 15 seconds on an 8-mile course. So he is doing exactly what he wants to do.
I believe that is Philip McJilton. No, that is not. That is Kevin Porterfield.
That's Porterfield's car driven by Adam Woodley. So we're still waiting for Philip McJilton. Does a little bit of bicycle, but saves her and keeps on keeping on.
So Porterfield, they're down 1 lap.
What a great race. This is so much fun. These guys and gals are putting on one heck of a show. Hopefully we'll see Philip McJilton come through here in just a little bit. That'll be our physical second race leader. So right now, out on course, it's Paul Wolf, Philip McJilton, Josh Blyler, Tad Dowker, Cade Rod, Cody Hardesty, Casey Gilbert, Rusty Blyler, Chris Branton, Kevin Porterfield, and then we got a few people that are dropping off the list. But again, on the top left is the Optima Batteries leaderboard.
And there's Paul Wolf right there going up Trail 69. He's been taking it straight through every single time he's gone through this lap. And he was going to consistently keep with the area that he's going. Why change it up in the middle of a race? And that's a fast line right there.
Paul Wolf is on a mission as we're watching him click off another lap. And there goes to Adam Woodley driving for Kevin Porterfield. So Woodley still pushing strong, keeping that wide open design car in check, and everything is going good. What a great day of racing it has been. And look, we got a great battle. That's a Miller car. Is that a Blyler?
It is. It was Josh Blyler. He just came through, and he's now in the second position on corrected time with a 17:01.975.
And Pam, you missed it, but Philip McGilton, I believe, just pulled in the Amsoil hot pit, so Josh Blyler gets the pass. So Philip McGilton is having an issue. I hate to see that for him. Hopefully we get a camera over to the hot pits and see what is going on. So physical on course, it is Paul Wolf. Now Josh Blyler. Philip McGilton dropped off pace about 30 seconds.
Oh, no, look at that.
Woodley has a left rear completely tire coming off, so this is going to be tough. And this is a super bad section, so that tire is completely off the bead, so he may have to back out and try to get that tire changed. Tough break for Adam Woodley and Kyle Hathaway.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I mean, the wheel is still on, and the tire just completely came off.
He must have got a really bad puncture. All these are all rocks, but they're covered in mud, so they're kind of hard to see, and he must have just caught one just wrong and completely destroyed that left rear tire.
And Miles, he's doing exactly what you said. He's going to get down to a spot to where he can possibly pull off and get that flat tire changed.
But just think of this. His mirrors are covered in mud, so he's backing down this canyon that's a zigzag, so he's having a little bit of problem because you're belted in, you got your belts on, you got your Hans on. It's really hard to see, and he keeps, now he's got traffic behind him. This could get interesting.
And that is going to be Blyler.
This is physical second, so this is going to cost Blyler some time. So this is not a good situation. Adam Woodley is absolutely not trying to cause any harm, but Josh Blyler, that already cost him about 5 seconds, and now he is, hopefully there is a bypass. I think they're going to let him come up and around. You can stay within 50 feet of course, but Adam Woodley is, look at this, Josh Blyler is going to find a spot. So he's pulling out of the way. Oh, this is costing Blyler a lot of time. This is going to be about a full minute. So Adam Woodley did absolutely everything he could to get out of his way, but this is absolutely huge. So Paul Wolf just gained about 35 seconds to a minute over Josh Blyler. That is a huge thing in this race. That could really determine it, and that's just bad luck.
I was going to say it looks like we're going to have a repeat of last year, but that was such a bummer just now that Josh Blyler was stuck behind him. But you know what? He was trying his best to get out of his way. That's what he was doing. He knows that the leaders are coming up behind him, and he tried his best to do it. He was trying to get out of the way of Josh Blyler.
But we have about another half hour of racing before that white flag comes out. So there's still a lot of racing yet to come. A couple more laps. We'll see what happens. But Woodley is he's stuck here. He's trying to get out of the way, but that when you have a three-wheel drive with all this mud, it's really, really tough to make anything happen. I hate to see this. This is just bad luck. There's our physical race leader, Paul Wolf, at the Yukon launch as he's gained a little ground over Blyler. Wow, this could be the determiner of this race.
It's going to come down to the wire for sure. Josh Blyler's now going to have to pick it up even more, and you know what's going to happen is Paul Wolf is going to end up picking it up.
And remember, we saw Philip McGilton pull into the Amsoil hot pits, and I haven't seen how long he's been in there or what happened. So hopefully we can get a little information on that.
And there we have Tad Dowker. He is pulling into the Amsoil hot pits right now as well.
And I've got another terrible update. That is Tad Dowker in the Amsoil hot pits right now. So tough break for that. Hopefully we can fly around and see if we see McGilton. But Tad Dowker's going to do a quick little fuel to make sure he can make it through. I don't see Philip McGilton unless he's on the far. Okay, McGilton looked like it may have just gotten a fuel and go, so he's back out there. It looks like Jonathan Dallas, but I got a terrible text just now, Pam, from Chip. He's supposed to be racing, not texting. He blew a high-pressure line at the top of Trail 69, so sadly his day is done. But he did say we didn't hit a single tree. But I'm gonna go check out that car and see what happened. Did you see the dust fly on that? So that's probably exactly where Adam Woodley popped the tire because that's on the left side, and that is just a tough break as Cade Rod yanking on a little vine coming down the hill, but there is action all over the race course.
So Cade Rod, his last lap was an 18:12. This one was an 18:44, but he is running in that number 5 spot, running strong, unofficially in 5th position.
And it is going to be a race. Paul Wolf out front with the hole shot. He was on the pole. Hasn't been passed yet. He's dealt with some lap traffic, but he is having a picture-perfect race. Can he keep this up till the end? Time will tell.
We shall see. I mean, last year it was just like this. Paul Wolf and Josh Blyler going back and forth. And then Paul Wolf towards the end of the race, when I think it was like the last lap of the before, hits a tree, breaks him, and he's out of the race.
And that can still happen. We still got a lot of racing yet to come. I think it's going to be about 2 more laps before we see that white flag come out. They took off one at a time every 30 seconds. This race is on adjusted time. It's a 2-hour race and then 1 lap.
Using all of that horsepower to get up that hill. So that was very interesting. We were talking about this earlier, that these cars can go. They don't need to stop and get fuel, but yet here we did. Here we saw 2 people stop and get fuel.
So I wonder if they didn't put enough fuel in from the beginning for weight issues, or are they just spinning the tires so hard because it's so slick, so they're using all that extra horsepower and getting less fuel mileage than anticipated?
It could be possible.
I was talking to Chad Hunt last night about his fuel strategy. He said, "Oh no, I'm not stopping for fuel, but I've got to." He's like, "But I'll know where I'm at when it comes towards the end of the race because he runs an actual fuel gauge." He's like, "I've seen too many racers run out of fuel because they just didn't know." He's like, "I want a fuel gauge so I know exactly if I need to pull into the pits or not." As we see K-Rod coming up and around Trail 69, right up the gut with a smooth run.
And Cade Rod in that 5th position, like we were saying earlier, in an unofficial 5th position. So Paul Wolf's last lap time was a 17:27. Josh Blyler's was a 17:01. We did see him stuck. So not stuck, but he was having to get around a car right in front of him. So we'll see if he ends up making up any time anywhere else on the race course.
And there is Tad Dowker. We saw him in the AMSOIL hot pits. He got a little splash and go, and he has not been running his spare tire this entire race, but I don't think he's had a tire issue yet. But it just, it goes to see strategy. We were watching Cody Hardesty earlier with that right rear flat. I haven't seen much of him lately. Did he change the tire out on course, or is he going to pull in the AMSOIL hot pits? But I believe I'm getting a little chatter through my rugged race radios. We should see him very soon. We've got a whole team behind us making all this amazing film come together. We got a great producer behind us in our ear, keeping everything going straight. Speed Sport has really teamed up with AOE.TV and bringing you some amazing coverage. Again, if you are just tuning in, we thoroughly appreciate each and every one of you. This has been the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. We are about 3/4 of the way through the 4,400 Unlimited race, and it has been a dogfight out there for sure. But Paul Wolf on the pole has took off first and has not looked back yet. And there goes Philip McGilton. We saw him in the pits for a little bit, but obviously he did a quick splash and go, and right back out there pushing strong.
And he's in the number 3 position right now, unofficially on time.
And there is a Miller car. Is that Gilbert or Blyler? We've dropped out Chad Hunt, so we know it's not him. Is it Rusty or Josh Blyler or Casey Gilbert?
It's a Miller chassis.
That's all, a brown Miller chassis at that. And this drone is doing amazing flying through the trees trying to chase him down.
That is Casey Gilbert.
Good catch, Pam. Casey Gilbert on the gas, hauling the mail.
I wonder when he's going to hand over the reins to his son.
Well, we saw him riding shotgun with his son yesterday during the UTV race. This, I believe, is Miller chassis number 1 that Eric Miller has designed, and he's got a lot of cars out there in production now, but this is one of the oldest Miller chassis out there. He raced the 4800 Brannick Motorsports Legends class for a long time, and they kept calling him the Sandbagger, so he finally stepped up and is racing in the Unlimited class. Is that Roger King still, I believe, still trying to get his car going? Like we said, can't see much. But, yes, it looks like that's Roger King. There is back to Cade Rod going down the Yukon launch.
He is on it. He will not. He's not going to let up. He's still trying to gun for that win.
This is so much fun coming, watching this action coming to us. But there's a lot of action on course, and we were talking about Cody Hardesty just a little bit ago with that right rear tire. Did they stop on course to change it? Because it looks like he should have came through by now, but we haven't seen him. So did they stop on course to change the car, or did that cause him to have an issue out on course? That is, I'm going to guess that's Josh Blyler. Coming up the Spider Tracks backstretch. We are right back at the race line wheels, start finish. And is that a little bit of drizzle I see in front of that camera, possibly?
It does look like a little bit of a drizzle. And there's Casey Gilbert right there.
Coming up through Trail 69. All 4 Nitto tires look like they're doing great and putting the traction to the ground.
A little bit of bumping. That is definitely a rough area right there. You can see the way the suspension's knocking around when they're hitting the bumps and the rocks. It's rough out there. Trail 69 is not a fun trail, especially with the rain.
Oh, I think it's a great trail, but it's
fun.
A difficult trail.
I shouldn't say it's not fun. It's fun because you're racing. It's just a rough trail.
And there's a great shot of the ridge that comes between the two haulers. Horseshoe hauler on the far side, and we're on the near side. And it just goes to show you the elevation changes here in Rush Off-Road are absolutely amazing. This is one beautiful part of the country. We'll be racing up in Montana next month. We'll be going to Visions there at Mid-America Outdoors. We'll be racing up in Pennsylvania, out in Lake Havasu, up in Crandon. We will be all over the United States this year with Ultra 4 USA, having some fun. So the sun is out, but I can hear the raindrops now. So this can be a little bit of interesting to see what comes to perspire out of this. Just a little added, you can see a little steam coming off there, it looks like. So the sun's out, the drizzle's coming, but it's just, we'll see. I don't think it's going to add too much as we see Christopher Brenton cross the hill. This will be a great one to chase down as he comes down. That shows you how steep that section is. And then this one, they kind of just point downhill and roll with it. There was only one trail heading down when we first qualified. Now there's 3 trails heading down. So we made EB a couple more trails to give his riders some fun out here. E.B. Lohman is the park owner out here at Rush Off-Road, and we've been working closely with him, and him and his entire crew has been extremely accommodating to Ultra 4 USA. Again, we need to give a huge shout-out to Jason and Gayla Robinette, all of the volunteers, the Ultra 4 USA staff, AOE and MAO crew, media, safety, USAC, racers, fans, and all of our marketing partners. Without any of those, we would not be racing here today in Rush, Kentucky. Bringing everything together. And the trees, I think, have filled in this week. When we first got here, it's really, really popping today. It's a great shot of the Brannock Bump Hill. And we'll kind of back in right at the bottom of our screen right now is the Amsoil Hot Pits. To our right is a great viewing area.
I was going to say that viewing area has definitely filled in a little bit more than it was earlier on. Over here in front of our merchandise trailer, it's filled in as well. Lots of people out here watching the racing. It's a lot of fun to be out here. And there we do have Christopher Branton. He's going to make a tight right-hand turn. It's a lot of mud, a lot of water. You can see it flying there right towards the drone, up towards Trail 69.
And you see a flagger with a yellow right going into Trail 69. So not sure what's going on, but we're having a little bit of attrition there in Trail 69. We were seeing Adam Woodley having some issues in there, so maybe he's still trying to get off course. And that camera should be getting somebody in the screen. I saw someone. Is that?
It looks like Paul Wolf.
I think you're right, Pam. Physical leader Paul Wolf coming down the hill for another lap. This is going to be really close. Is the white flag going to go? I do not think so. But next time around, I'm going to guess the white flag will come out. We'll see. It's going to be close. It's 2 hours of racing. We're right at that hour and 3-minute mark. So I was a little preamp there, but this race is really coming down to the wire. Paul Wolf got the whole shot, got the pole position. He gets those 7 extra seconds while Josh Blyler is picking up the pace. So this
close.
And remember, Josh Blyler lost at least 30 seconds, but now he just put on 17 seconds, even with that hiccup. So Josh Blyler knows it's down the wire. He is pushing hard. So Josh Blyler, even though he lost 30 seconds behind Adam Woodley, he gained 17 seconds over Paul Wolf. So in my mind, he can gain 45 seconds on this last lap if he can pull it together. So Josh Blyler is really, really pushing hard. It's going to be really close.
I can't believe how much time he just made up on Paul Wolf.
So let's think about that, Pam. Paul left, and then Philip McGilton, and then Josh Blyler. So Paul Wolf has to beat Josh Blyler by 1 minute to beat him. So adjusted time is absolutely on Josh Blyler's side. So this race is coming down just like it did last year between Paul Wolf and Josh Blyler. And there he is coming into screen, and it is going to be exciting.
So that is Rusty Blyler actually going through right there.
So I apologize. The Blyler cars look so identical. That is the Happy Pappy Rusty Blyler. So I apologize. We'll see where it comes out with Josh Blyler. These cars look so identical, it is hard to tell. But I know that is Paul Wolf. Paul Wolf is going up this Trail 69, really pushing hard, and I was really getting my blood boiling when I mixed up Rusty Blyler and Josh Blyler, but it's still going to be a great race. Down to it, I promise.
And it sounds like Josh Blyler will be coming through here in just a moment. We'll get an updated time at 17:01.069. So Paul Wolf's last lap was a 17:18.711, and then Josh Blyler was a 17:01.069.
So Josh Blyler is really pushing hard. We'll see how it all shakes out. Man, I'm doing my best to keep all this action. Remember, go to live.ultra4racing.com for the same live timing we have here in the Project X booth. But we're going to kind of double check, do a little homework, and see how far back we think Josh Blyler is over Paul Wolf. But again, it's going to be just last. Wow. So I think Josh Blyler has been that consistent to run back-to-back 17:01, even when he lost that 30 seconds behind Adam Woodley. So Josh Blyler's starting to pick it up, and this is Josh Blyler's kind of race. He loves the tight woods out here.
And that was his fastest lap time so far that he's thrown down at that 17:01.069.
And that is only 6 seconds off of Paul Wolf's fastest lap of a 16:54 of the day. So what was yesterday's fast lap in the UTV? A 16:40, if I'm not mistaken. So Paul Wolf is only about 14 seconds after fast lap yesterday. It's really, really amazing to see how fast those UTVs are on these fast and nimble races.
Well, the UTV's shorter wheelbase, obviously not as wide, more nimble, and that's exactly why they had the faster lap time yesterday.
And this should be Josh Blyler coming up Trail 69. He'll be probably coming right at us, and he is pushing hard. You can tell he is all over the throttle, just kind of dancing through this area. You can't see any numbers, you can't see anything, but I am pretty sure that is Josh Blyler because he came through the timing, Luke, about a minute and a half ago.
The only way I've noticed, Miles, is on Josh's car, the front, his winch line's kind of hanging over just a little bit more. But the fastest lap time yesterday was thrown down by Kyle Chaney, and it was a 15:40.535.
15:40, not 16:40. Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome.
We got stats for days up here. We'll do our best to keep it all honest. There's a lot of racing that has already happened, so we'll do our best to keep it going. But we are having a lot of fun here in Rush, Kentucky. That is Chris Brandt.
Yes.
Man, we're on it. This has been a great weekend of racing for Ultra 4 USA. It's been so much fun. We've had so many racers, so many fans, so many of our marketing partners be involved with this. E.B. Lohman and his entire team, Gus and the core crew has been great. Looks like we have somebody coming down. Could that be Philip McGilton, possibly?
I would say Philip McGilton, yes. That is, or Tad Dowker coming through. But that
is definitely Philip McGilton coming down.
It is. He has those amber-colored lights on the front.
So he'll be physically in third and on adjusted time, and you can see he's about 3 minutes off pace. But remember, he did pull into the Amsoil hot pits. So Paul Wolf has a little bit of a lead. Then Josh Blyler's trying to chase him down. But 1 and 2 are a lot closer than Phil. But Phil still has this race. You never know. We'll see what kind of time he throws down without going into the Amsoil hot pits.
I'm getting nervous inside. This is coming down from like last year's nervous end of the race.
I'm getting excited and nervous for this race. We're about an hour and 50 minutes into it. Can Paul Wolf come around before the white flag comes out at that 2-hour mark? It's going to be interesting. They're out on lap 5. We'll see what happens. But here comes Cade Rod coming down the hill. Number 7 out of Cortez, Colorado, with Cade Rod Racing still pushing strong.
Cade Rod just bumped up on corrected time into that number 3 position. He just threw down a 16:44.696. He now has the fastest lap time of the race so far.
By 10 seconds. So Cade Rod was saving his car, and now he knows the course. He knows his car. Everybody's going to be pushing. So this is where if you make a mistake, your day's over. But if you don't push hard, your day's over as well. So now it's to make it or break it time. But to finish first you must finish.
What do you normally say, Miles? All right, I don't know if you say this or not. He grabbed an extra gear.
Grabbing an extra gear and giving it all he's got.
Wow, I cannot believe he just threw down a 10-second faster lap than Paul Wolf.
Yeah, and Paul Wolf is no slouch. And we keep talking solid axle versus IFS. Here's a solid axle coming down of Tad Dowker. The solid axles are usually a little skinnier for the trees they can get through, and the solid axles are usually a lot wider because they want the stability, but they are really flying through these tight trees. I believe the next lap is going to be the white flag when we see Paul Wolf. Getting a little chatter through my rugged race radio, but it sounds like white flag will come out next time we see Mr. Paul Wolf. There's Philip McGilton heading out the top of Trail 69. Oh, there's Adam Woodley back in action. So him and Kyle Hathaway changed the left rear tire, and they are back on course. And just think, that cost them probably a full lap, but that's what you have to do. And, yes, you can see the flat tire strapped back to the back of this car. So tough break with that flat tire, but that is part of racing.
Part of racing, and it's good to see that he's back out on race course.
So they were able to pull off course just enough, get the tire, get the car jacked up in the air, change the tire. And it's hard to do in the pits. It's even harder to do on the rough terrain out there. Oh, there's Roger King back in action. So great to see him moving once again. Cade Rod's going to make the pass around him. We are nearing the end. We should have next time around for Paul Wolf should be the white flag. If you are just joining us, this is the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. And we got some great rock bouncing yet to come tonight. There's Justin Willis and Anthony Yount's car. They're going to be putting on a show later on tonight. It's going to be fun to see. There's back to Tad Dowker in Bambi in that solid axle Trent fabrication machine. That car's been around for a very long time.
And the other day he was out pre-running and had some overheating issues. It ended up being a bad sensor. But we were giving him water.
Is that Paul Wolf?
It looks like it's skinny, like it would be Paul Wolf, but I don't believe it is.
Nope, that has got Max's tires. I believe that's Jonathan Dawes coming down on another Trent Fab machine. Still pushing strong. So Paul Wolf will be coming through here in a little bit, but we don't see him yet. So Jonathan Dawes debuting. Oh, he's got a right rear flat tire, but he is debuting this car here in Rush, Kentucky. He raced with us back in 17, if I remember right. Stepped away for a little bit, still came in and helped out in the pits, but it's great to see him back racing with us. That's a Trent fabrication machine, but Liberty Mountain Fam kind of turned into a roller and did a lot of work for him, so we wanted to give them a shout-out as well. So Jonathan Dawes in the AMSOIL hot pits. It's 15 miles an hour. Once you enter, no passing, and they'll get in here, change that right rear. The whole Team Indiana, they'll have 20 of them on there. A lot of these have raced already this weekend. They're going to check everything out, get him in and out of the AMSOIL hot pits quick and easy.
With as many rocks and tree stumps that are out here, I'm surprised we haven't seen more flats, but we've seen quite a few, just not as many as I was expecting to see this weekend.
Well, the top three are all on Nitto tires, so it really goes to show. It really makes a big difference what kind of tire you bring. And those Nitto tires, 1, 2, 3 right now, are looking good. And those are big and heavy tires. And just think Adam Woodley and Kyle Hathaway just had to do this by themselves out on course. And speaking about that, still haven't seen Cody Hardesty in a while.
No, we have not. But we do have in the number 1 position Paul Wolf, Josh Blyler in that number 2 position, Cade Rod 3rd, Tad Dowker 4th, and Philip McJilton in that 5th position. These are all unofficial right now, but that is our top 5.
What a great, great run. That may have been Philip McJilton at quick glance. And that is at the Yukon launch camera. What a race we have on our hounds. It is going to be a race to the finish. We've been racing for an hour and 55 minutes. So next time we see Mr. Paul Wolf, the white flag will be out. I love this new format. We tried it last year. We talked to the racers. We want their feedback because JT and I come out here and set course, and we're going to guess, okay, these guys are going to run about a 15-mile lap, so let's give them, let's give them 4 laps to race for an hour. Well, we misguessed it. They ran in 10, so now they're only racing for 40 minutes. So at least this way they know what kind of seat time they're going to get when they show up to a race, and they get to go out there and give it their all. That was a Miller car, I believe. So is that Casey Gilbert? Is a guess. A brown Miller car. And the drone just about got taken out by a car right behind him.
That is Casey Gilbert right there. Let's see who
was behind him. That may be Cody Hardesty. So we did see him have a right rear flat. But, yes, it looks like they did. He's missing his spare, so he changed his right rear tire out on course and is back under action. So Cody Hardesty and Chris Wyant back out on course, but had to change a tire like we saw earlier when he passed the AMSOIL hot pits. So Jonathan Dawes still getting that tire changed as we see Casey Gilbert pulling into the pits as well. But it shouldn't be because he was out. So Casey Gilbert and Jonathan Dawes in the AMSOIL hot pits. Not sure what's going on. So now we have Big B Motorsports helping out.
Looks like they just looked up underneath the left-hand side there just to see. Maybe he feels something loose. I'm wondering something maybe going on with the steering. I don't know.
But, again, it's better safe than sorry. So I think that cost him 30 seconds. But at least he has a little bit of a better idea that he's not – it's not a mental game that I wonder if there's something wrong with my car. At least he's out there thinking there isn't anything wrong with my car. Even though it's a quick glance, something still could be wrong, but it's not something very obvious that the crew says, I don't see a physical issue. Your tires look good. All your suspension components are on. Keep on keeping on.
Didn't he go in earlier and stop through, do a little, wasn't it him?
Yep, I believe he's been through there a couple times. So Jonathan Dawes and Corey Day are chatting with Chad Hunt. Chad Hunt is out of the race, but look at the smile. I mean, they are all out there having fun, and that's why we race, is for fun. So there's Cody Hardesty coming back into screen there at Trail 69. This is our first Eastern Regional race for the Ultra 4 USA Series. We started out the year at King of the Hammers, but this is the first Eastern Series race. Our next one will be our Western Series race for Ultra 4 USA up in Montana with the Big Sky 200 will be May 18th through the 21st next month. So we're about a month out from our next race for the first Western Series race.
I'm really excited about going there. I've heard nothing but good things about that track, and Aaron and Grizz are amazing. It's going to be awesome to be up there with them and see what track course that they have laid out for us.
It's completely different than this. Look at this. This place is beautiful, but Montana is beautiful in its own way. The Big Sky country, it's kind of like a desert race in the middle of this private ranch we have. It's a lot of two-track. There's some jumps, but it's a high-speed race, so it's going to be a fun one. We've raced there the last couple years, and I can't wait to go back.
And that was Casey Gilbert. That was going up Trail 69. You can see that all of the America Pro Rock bouncers are coming in for their staging for tonight.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Paul Wolf right now. He should be coming through any time. It's been a great weekend of racing, and we are not done yet. We are down to the final wire here. We should see Paul Wolf here very soon grabbing that white flag. And once the white flag comes out, no matter what lap you're on, it is everybody's final lap. And look at this drone sneaking through the woods, trying to find out our next competitor.
And that's where I was saying it would be super cool if a drone could actually show elevation. That would be super cool to see that.
But right now it kind of shows you how steep it is and how out it is, because it's that first steep drop and then another drop right at the bottom left of our screen. Oh, and there's Paul Wolf, our physical race leader. So the white flag will be out for Paul Wolf. He hasn't changed a single Nitto tire yet today. All the race line wheels are holding on. Paul Wolf grabs the white flag. About 17 to 18 minutes yet to go of this race. What a great race we have on our hands. Here comes Christopher Branton. He is a lap down. So our next car we are looking for is Josh Blyler, then Cade Rod, Tad Dowker, Philip McGilton, and Casey Gilbert. It's going to be a race. And look at Paul Wolf. He is really, really laying it down. And he just turned a 17:05. So he's shaved off about 12 seconds of his consistency. So, Chris Hickman's in the radio saying, Paul, do what you have to do, but now's the time to let her fly.
And this is where Josh Blyler and Cade Rod are both going to really turn it up, because now they know what Paul Wolf just came in as with this last lap. You want to have pedal down this whole entire time, because they are all three right now in contingency.
So we were guessing 8 to 10 laps, and they are going to turn 8 laps here for the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash with Ultra 4 Racing USA.
You can see Mr. J.T. Taylor, our race director, standing there with the white flag waiting for the next competitor to come through.
So there's Jonathan Dawes, and this means Paul Wolf won't be too far behind. So Jonathan Dawes may be a little bit of lap traffic, and we saw what accidentally happened with Adam Woodley in this same exact spot. But Jonathan Dawes is healthy. He's moving. He does not have a flat tire, but Paul Wolf is going to have some lap traffic to deal with here in the next few minutes.
And Jonathan Dawes took that right-hand lane where we have seen Paul Wolf take it every time on the left-hand side, and right there is
That is absolutely Josh Blyler, because he had the red number plate because he was the national championship winner last year. So this is going to be really close. Remember, Paul Wolf has to beat Josh Blyler by 1 minute, and a new fastest time of the day of a 16:37 by Josh Blyler, and now he's pulling to the hot pits.
Oh
no, I really thought it was going to be a race. Well, this is going to cost him some time. He's going to pull all the way to the end. On the left is where his pits are in the Amsoil hot pits, but Josh Blyler, I hate to see him pulling in here. Not sure what happened.
Looks like
they're going to do fuel there, a little bit worried of fuel. This better be a super fuel, but this is going to cost him about a minute. Tough. Oh, I hate seeing this. So I know Chris Hickman's on the radio saying, hey, Paul, Josh Blyler just pulling the Amsoil hot pits. Just give him a quick splash and go and send him out. See how he's turning the wheels left and right? They're checking suspension. It looks like, having a little bit of issue stabbing the fuel in there. This is costing some precious, precious time. And he just threw down a 16:37. He was really, really on Paul Wolf's tail. But this makes you think, does Paul Wolf have enough fuel? Is Josh playing it too safe, or is Paul Wolf playing the gamble game? So there is Josh Blyler, physical second, and you saw how he was 15 miles an hour until he saw the resume race speed, and then he hits the gas, and he is on the mission.
And that right there is Rusty Blyler coming through.
But he is a lap down. But the Happy Pappy is going to be right behind his son, Josh Blyler. Wow, this is going to be coming. This is going to be interesting because remember, Paul Wolf has to beat Josh Blyler by 1 full minute. So adjusted time is definitely on Josh Blyler's side, but he had that Amsoil hot pit.
He did go in for the Amsoil hot pit. He got some fuel, and Miles, you said it, that they were having trouble stabbing in the fuel in there. Well, all the mud, because that is a quick fuel. So putting that in there, there's mud all over the car, and that can get muddy in it right there as well. So putting that in there, you have to have that seal for it to actually feed the fuel into the gas tank.
Normally they cover that with some kind of tape and rip it off.
Right.
So hopefully it went smooth. We'll find out. We'll see if we can keep our cameras ready back there at the Yukon launch in the Spider Tracks backstretch out on the backside of the course. But it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. But the fastest lap of the day goes to Josh Blyler with that 16:37. But we cannot count out Cade Rod.
No, we saw Cade Rod throw down the fastest lap his last time through with a 16:44. You know that he has people in his ears, his pit crew on it, saying you need to pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Here's Josh Blyler coming through Trail 69. He'll come straight at us. Oh, look at that rock. Is it going to claim a tire? I think it held up. Those Nitto tires are tough.
So many people have been clipping that rock right there. It must be one of those kind that is sticking out like a pointy one because so many people have been hitting it and having that little bit of a white smoke off of the wheel.
And you're in that little creek, so you're kind of stuck in that little valley, so you're just kind of driving by braille at that point. You know, no fault to the driver. It's so slick, and you're just going through there doing whatever you can. I believe that is Rusty Blyler, the Happy Pappy, right behind his son Josh Blyler. And I see a little smoke coming out of the right side of both. And look, that same rock, it got hit, but those wheels and tires are holding up strong. But on both Josh and Rusty Blyler's car, I saw a little puff of smoke on the right side, so that may be a little blow-off coming out of the engine. Maybe they're just running hard. I don't know, but we'll see if these cars can last another lap. But the white flag is out.
And where is Cade Rod? That is the question right now.
Cade Rod started in 5th position, so we should have seen him by now if he was going to be in contention for first and second place. But hopefully he can lock down that 3rd position and round out the podium. There goes Paul Wolf down the Yukon launch. So we got a physical eye on Paul Wolf. We really need to watch this section to see how far back Josh Blyler is.
And the Yukon launch is, what mile marker is that roughly at?
I'm going to say roughly 3 mile marker.
3 mile, that's
so
exactly
about a third way through the course.
That's what I was thinking. I just wasn't sure. But we do have somebody. Is that Cade Rod right there? No, that is not. That is
Jonathan Dawes heading down the Yukon launch. So Paul Wolf was able to get around some lap traffic. And there is Cade Rod we were just talking about. So there is physical 3rd and on adjusted time, I believe. We'll find out as he crosses over.
A 16:51.735, that still leaves him right now in that 3rd position, unofficially on corrected time.
So the last 2 laps were in 5 seconds of each other, so consistency is in his wheelhouse. He is being smooth and consistent. Mr. Cade Rod in that single-seat IFS Jimmy's chassis. So hopefully we can keep an eye on that camera back there at the Yukon launch. I'm doing my unofficial timer, and it's been a minute right now. I don't know if we've seen Josh yet or not.
Not through the Yukon launch, we have not, or they have not caught him on camera back in that area.
There is Christopher Branton going down the Yukon. No, that was Christopher Branton going down the Yukon launch.
You see him get a little bit of sideways coming down because that's very, very steep right there, and it's a lot of rock.
So this race is on adjusted time. They took off at one at a time at 30-second increments. So Paul Wolf has to beat Josh Blyler by at least 1 minute. If Josh Blyler comes in 59 seconds behind Paul Wolf, Josh Blyler will bump him out of the lead. So it'll be very interesting to see. It's going to be fun. There's Tad Dowker getting ready to drop down, heading out for his final lap. He is I believe he is on the lead lap, so he's got a great run. How far back did he start? Tad Dowker was 1 minute behind Cade Rod, so it's going to be really close. 3rd and 4th is actually extremely close.
Yes, so Tad Dowker is in that 4th position right now unofficially, and his last lap was a 17:19.773. And Cade Rod going up Trail 69 right now. He's been taking that right-hand line. I think what's going on is it's so slippery that they're trying to steer wherever, but they're on the gas so much that they're kind of bouncing around, and they're just keeping it straight and going wherever they're bouncing to.
What a great day of racing it has been, Pam. If you're just joining us, this is the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. I am Miles Hasquist alongside Mrs. Pam Hall, and this is Ultra 4 USA at its finest. This is the 4400 Unlimited race. Unlimited suspension, unlimited tires, unlimited horsepower. So you dream it, build it, come race it.
And that's a great view right there of the overhead.
It is Tad Dowker, as he's going to make that hard 180 right and head back in there towards Trail 69.
So one and two right now. Paul Wolf, Josh Blyler, neck and neck. We'll see.
And there is Adam Woodley dropping down, I do believe, in Kevin Porterfield's car. Has a 2-seat wide open design IFS chassis.
And it looks like he went down the original turn that we had, the original downhill that we had on the original course before we had to divert it this morning. And that little hop right there.
What a race it has been today. What a race it's been all weekend long. We started with the stock class, then raced UTVs. Then we had the youth. This morning we had the Everyman Challenge, and now it's the Unlimited race. So it's been a lot of fun as Tad Dowker comes up the middle of Trail 69 on the left side of that either or.
And go ahead.
Adam Woodley is in the Amsoil hot pits, kind of shaking it out there. Obviously going to put a new spare on there and get it all figured out. So they're it looks like that's all they're doing is putting a new spare on and going to send them back out. There's Cody Hardesty. Did we ever see Blyler come through that first camera there on the Yukon launch?
You can see down there in the Amsoil hot pits, people starting to pack up, that the racers are all on their last lap, so they're getting ready to go over and meet them at the finish line.
And do a little bit of celebration. We will be giving away those Laser Nut trophies wrapped by 360 here in just a little bit. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. There's a lot of money on the line as well, and they're shipping them out, saying go give them heck on your final lap.
And did you see they re-racked his spare tire? So they changed the tire, or he had to change one on course or something, because they saw them ratcheting strap down his brand new spare tire.
Yeah, we know they changed it at the bottom of that Trail 69,
yes, that's right.
Remember? We'll see. So he'll probably make a mental note of that, and we just saw that one rock not take out anybody, but we were nervous every time it was hit. It's been so much fun covering this race. We've got cameramen and women all over this course. We got a few drones out there, lots of sticks cameras, bringing you the best action we can. Again, thank you everybody for staying tuned in. And speaking about drone pilots, here's our own Molly Murphy. She's unofficially official, the first female drone pilot ever on a live broadcast as she's flying her drone high and wide. She's having fun down there, bringing us some great, great action. Thank you again, Molly, for flying that drone and bringing us these amazing shots. And here she is, high and wide, giving us that shot right there as we're seeing the start-finish for the race line. Checkered flag is out, so they are patiently awaiting Paul Wolf. We should see him here in just a few minutes. Again, we have teamed up with Speed Sport all season long, so be sure to tune in. It's going to be great. The checkered flag, he's doing a little warm-up. He doesn't want to pull a hammy or anything.
Mr. Aaron Presley, Mr. AP out here. He's been working hard all weekend long with us.
So Adam Woodley making his way through Trail 69. We'll see if he clips this same rock that bit him last time. We are almost to that section, and there it is. Oh, he kissed it with the left front this time. But everybody that we've seen come through there hit it, and he must have just hit it just wrong. Remember, you can tune into AOE.tv or speedsport.tv.
All right, Paul Wolf should be coming through here any minute. We saw earlier, who is that right there? Is that Mr. Paul Wolf right there?
No,
it is not.
That is going to be Philip McJilton with Dr. Amanda Ross riding shotgun. He had a great run going earlier, but dropped off a little bit. He's still sitting there in the top 5. White flag is out for him. So one more lap for Philip McJilton.
And he ran a 25:12 that time, but they did go into the hot pits last lap, so that's why he has a little bit of a larger lap time that time around. He actually has been in the hot pits the last 2 laps, but that one right there was a little bit longer, so a 25-minute lap, but he has been running strong all day long. Just something's going on, killing his lap times just a hair.
But if he can keep in that top 5, he'll still be very excited for that. This has been a great weekend of racing here for the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. Here in Rush, Kentucky, it's a beautiful off-road park. EB and his entire team has an amazing park here in northeast Kentucky, just outside of Ohio in West Virginia. It's 7,000 acres with over 100 miles of trails. So you can come out here and go trail riding anytime you want, and I highly recommend it. It is absolutely beautiful here. There's Philip McJilton once again coming to screen. So Philip McJilton heading up towards Trail 69 as we speak. I think we should see Paul Wolf in the next 3 or 4 minutes. Getting a little chatter through my rugged radio from course workers out there keeping us honest on where people are. And we are back to Philip McJilton, I would assume. So as he's coming into that first camera, yes, that is him. That is that solid axle Jimmy's car. That is a beautiful car. Jimmy's 4x4 builds a lot of cars, and they put out a fine product. We saw Cade Rod, the son of Randy Rod, Mr. Jimmy's 4x4 himself. His son Cade is out here racing with us. He debuted that single-seat IFS car this year at King of the Hammers, and is that Paul Wolf? I believe so. Paul Wolf is 5 seconds away. One more drop, and they'll take a hard left here, and then he'll spin around and grab the checkered flag here at the rest line. Finish Paul Wolf, unofficial first place for the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. Paul Wolf started out front and never looked back. So how far back is Josh Blyler? It is going to be down to the wire.
Oh, my goodness. So Paul Wolf just threw down a 16:27.608. He now has the fastest lap of this race. 10 seconds faster than Josh Blyler's. They have been playing back and forth with the fastest lap time. 16:27.608 is an amazing time that Paul Wolf just put down, but he is unofficially number 1 in that spot. Where is Josh Blyler? Where is Cade Rod? This is where it's coming down to the wire.
And there's Chris Hickman with Hickman Motorsports that helps out Paul Wolf on his left. On that radio, they've been chatting this entire race, playing that time game. I do have my unofficial stopwatch going. Remember, they took off in 30-second increments, so Paul Wolf has to beat Josh Blyler by 1 minute, and I think he's only got about 15 seconds yet to go. So we need to see Josh Blyler on that first camera within the next 5 seconds, or I think Paul Wolf is going to take this win. Remember, everything is unofficial till we dot our I's and cross our T's, but it is going to be extremely close. But I think he just lost his window. Unofficially, I think Paul Wolf just locked down his win here in Rush, Kentucky. We'll see how it all shakes out. But remember, it is on adjusted time. And don't forget, Josh Blyler was on Trail 69 and hit lap traffic with that flat tire from Adam Woodley, and that cost him a lot of time. But Paul Wolf just threw down that 16:27 and gave it all he had all the way to the finish line.
And look at that mud on there. We have Rufus Racing over there putting the window net up, giving some congratulations.
What a great race. And look at Paul taking a deep breath saying, woo.
Wow.
Where's Josh Blyler? I was really hoping it was going to be closer down to the wire. But, again, on adjusted time, it was with 1 minute, and we're about at that 2-minute mark. So which only means a minute.
Right.
But I think on adjusted time, Paul Wolf should lock down the win here in Rush, Kentucky. Again, everything is unofficial, but Paul Wolf is looking good to lock her in. What a great, great day of racing. That is not Josh Blyler. That looks like Jonathan Dawes, I believe. You can see those two fans on the back of his car. No, that is Christopher Branton coming down. He is a lap down, but what a great race for Christopher Branton. The checkered flag will be out for him as well. So Chris Branton, I believe, just moves into 6th position on adjusted time. So great run by Chris Branton.
And he just threw down his fastest lap time with 18:55.810. So fastest lap time for Christopher Branton just now was his last lap of the day.
So remember, Josh Blyler got hung up in Trail 69 and then pulled in the Amsoil hot pits, and that's what cost him the race there because they both drove an amazing race. Paul Wolf led this race last year until he smoked a tree. Well, this year he kept it all together, and it's looking really good. But, wow, where's Blyler? I really thought he was going to give him a run for his money. He did give him a run, but Paul Wolf didn't make a mistake today.
You know, I wonder if this is where the whole Big B Motorsports team will go. They'll drain the fuel once they get home just to see how much they had left because they know exactly what they put in it. So that's where they can go and they can calculate how much fuel. And there is Paul Wolf right there giving a thumbs up.
Big smiles from Paul Wolf. Has his Raceline wheel hat on. All smiles. What a great, great weekend he had. He got second place in He got second place in the UTV, and that was Chris Hickman he was grabbing that helps him put all this program together. So Paul Wolf and Chris Hickman did a great job. Both of them giving thumbs up. What a great weekend for Mr. Paul Wolf, taking home some trophies and taking home some cash.
And there's Tim with Nitto giving him a handshake and saying, great job you had over there. You have Greg with Raceline Wheels. It's been an amazing weekend for Raceline Wheels as well because they are sponsored by Raceline. They've had multiple drivers up here on the podium this weekend.
Yeah, it's been great to see the support from all the marketing. So thanks again, Chris and Greg and Tim. All of our marketing partners, or a lot of them, are here helping out their drivers. And we saw Greg throwing a lot of swag out to the crowd. So Raceline and Nitto and Warren are here on site helping everything out. Look on the inside of that car, how muddy it is. So that's the cockpit he has been in for over 2 hours. But where's Josh Blyler?
Where's Cade Rod?
You're right. I mean,
there's somebody on screen, but
that could be Blyler. I'm going to guess that's Blyler. I don't have a complete visual. It looks like a Miller car, and by what we were looking at, we should have seen Josh Blyler anytime. That is definitely a Miller car. I believe that is Josh Blyler. So our physical second place position is coming through, but I think he's a little off pace for Paul Wolf. But the checkered flag will be out for Josh Blyler grabbing that checkered flag. He's got a right rear flat tire, so that's what cost him some time. So was he pushing too hard and clipped something? That's probably what cost him those extra few precious minutes. So tough break for Josh Blyler, but hey, he's here. An unofficial second position, but how far back is Cade Rod? So Cade Rod needs to be in here within 1 minute. I've got my unofficial timer going right now. If we can see Cade Rod in the next about 45 seconds, he could steal second place away from Josh Blyler. Pam, it's going to be down to the wire.
It's going to be down to the wire. You know, Cade has his pit crew in his ear saying, pick it up, pick it up. We need this win, or not win, but we need this second place. But Cade Rod, where are you at?
So we'll keep our drone right here waiting for him. I think we got about about 20 more seconds. We need to see Cade Rod for him to steal that second place away from Josh Blyler. It's going to be down to the wire. Josh Blyler is getting ready to crawl out with Jared Erdman. What a great race. And look, I'm glad I don't have to clean these cars after this race. Josh Blyler, our national champion last year. He has won King of the Hammers, and he's on the podium once again here, playing in the trees. Here's a car coming. Is that Cade Rod? I believe it could be. But I think we're already over the minute mark, so I think Josh Blyler is safe. Unofficially, I believe Josh Blyler is safe in that second position. He had to be within a minute, and we're already over that minute mark unofficially.
And whoever that is right there, they are taking a little bit easy. You could tell they weren't completely, pedal down.
It is so hard to tell these cars apart when they get so muddy like this. But what a great weekend of racing it has been. What a great afternoon of racing. He's going to take this one more left turn. I don't see the big hood scoop on it. Nope. Nope, that's a Miller car, so that's Rusty Blyler, the Happy Pappy, grabbing the checkered flag.
And he has a front right flat.
Yeah, the tires took a beating here. So, here's another car.
Look at that. We have two in a row.
There is Cade Rod. So he's about a minute off pace, I believe. So unofficially, it looks like it's going to be Paul Wolf 1, Josh Blyler 2, and Cade Rod in that third position. I think that's probably going to be the way it sticks. So a big smile, big high five all the way around. What a great weekend of racing, and this is how you finish it out. So Josh Blyler's Big B Motorsports team came out of the Amsoil hot pits and checked everything out. Wow, what a great weekend of racing, Pam. It's been so much fun calling the action with you. I hope you guys and gals back at home and here on site have had as much fun as we have here in the Project X booth. It's been so much fun. This is Ultra 4 Racing, and it was a blast.
It has been so much fun. You can still see JT Taylor down there with the checkered flag. We still have a few racers out on race course, and look at the mud packed on those cars.
Wow, yeah, you started saying it and I laughed. I'm not jealous of the people that have to clean these cars. Look at the mud absolutely everywhere. Look at that iPad. I mean, that's a high dollar of equipment that's just completely drenched in mud.
Well, they put them in waterproof cases, of course, but how do you read that now? How do you see that?
Well, by now it's memorized,
exactly.
For sure. What a great day of racing. It's been so much fun out here, but we'll be right back and give away some of those trophies. Thanks for everybody tuning in to Speed Sport TV. We'll be right back after this. It's been a lot of fun here in Rush, Kentucky, but one of our other partners is over in Glen Helen doing some short course racing. We have Great American Short Course that's simulcasting with us right now, so we're going to send it over there and kind of tune in while we get ready for the trophies. So here's some Great American Short Course there at Glen Helen.
A spirited group, the Choosies.
Oh, man, yeah.
We are right now, Ultra 4 you. And I just want to say hello to all the folks out there, Pam, and of course.
Here's the deal about Miles. He may be calling the race, but he's not really calling the race until I see some mud in his hands. Because it is, from what I hear, it's muddier than heck at Rush right now. But thank you so much for tuning, guys. Had a beautiful day going on. I want to say maybe high 70s, a beautiful breeze. We've got mountains behind Glen Helen, the racetrack, and in the foreground we've got the snow-capped mountains, and just fantastic weather. And we're only halfway through the day of racing.
It's definitely a gorgeous day out here. Stock, and if you folks are watching this out there and at home, this is basically one of our build-it-yourself, do-it-yourself grassroots.
See a great aerial shot of our top three right now. This is a nice little battle going on right now.
It is. It's definitely a great one there, and we just had a driver's license.
Nice.
Almost like the Rough Riders, but I like. Knows how to win a race for sure. Yeah. So I know he's got a long career. We really try, and we see.
Straight, clean, brand new, no. Out
Green flag is getting ready to come out here and up and back. Says
And making stick scrubbed off a little bit too much, but Robert Orr is still on it for that second spot. Whoa, try that in.
through several drivers.
On the edge of running out.
Moore's trying to get a big run here.
Yeah. And, oh, making a little bit of contact.
There
Very
it is.
little
There
bit.
it is. Come on, get that nose in there.
And now it's about a 4-car length gap back to second. Choosy, now we're going to find out exactly why you've earned that number one plate. To second.
Well, the white flag's going to come out. One. Justin Miller in the 99, one of our new drivers in the 99, and just started.
But as soon as I say that now, oh man, I unless something catastrophic, and again, it looks like I'm going to throw it out.
Not having any issues. Rotates on the last turn. It's going to come down. He's going to see that checkered flag out.
Yeah. I gotta think that there's something going on with that truck of Choosy.
I kind of agree. He did kind of.
We'll send Dave Miller down trackside to the podium.
Well, thank you, Scott Rain and Dave Arnold there at Great American Short Courses. A lot of fun. They're racing all the way across over in California there at Glen Helen, putting on one heck of a show. But we are back here for the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. I am Miles Hasquist, and a special guest with me right now is Mr. Adam Woodley, fresh off the track. I mean, look at this stuff. He's just coming in here making me look bad.
Oh, dude, I'm dirty, I'm messy, I'm everything else, but I just had one heck of a good time.
I mean, you've been around this world for a very long time and a great character of the sport. You run Wide Open Designs. You just drove your car. We saw a few of your cars out there running around, and you haven't been behind the driver's seat in quite a while at a race pace, and you're out there driving for Kevin Porterfield. How much fun did you have?
Oh, dude, I can't even say. Got to say thank you for Kevin for letting me drive the car. But, yeah, it's been 2010 since I drove a 4,400 car on the track.
And it looked like you were having fun. You had a great race until you didn't. But that was a tough course, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. We blew out a back tire. Don't know really. I think we smacked a tree hard up on the top side coming in. Like, I mean, it smacked so hard my visor flipped up. Me and Kyle were just like, whoa.
Whoops.
Is it still driving good? And we said, yeah, good. So we turned down and hammered down. Come through that lap. Went up the big hill over here, started coming downhill, and we just heard a big pow. And I thought the exhaust backfired or something. And no, it was that wheel or tire, and everything just all took a big explosion there at once. And
then you were in the Trail 69 right there, and we were watching.
Well, that's when I realized that it was flat.
Yeah. So we were watching. You were like, "Oh man, he's stuck." And then Josh Blyler in physical second was right behind you. You didn't know that, and then you felt him back there, and you tried all you could to get out of your way. You were just stuck. You couldn't get out of the way because that left rear wheel was just spinning inside the wheel.
Yeah, that tire was gone. The tire, the wheel, everything there. I'll tell you. Last thing I want to do, man. Hey, I haven't been here in a while. Raced. I know I'm not going to be there on the podium, and the last thing I want to do is get in the way of any of those guys racing for the hunt. They got points championships and everything else to worry about all year, and I want them out there. I tried all I could to get out of his way as quick as I could, and he got on out. And then we waited till the coast was clear, and I backed out. Me and Kyle jumped out. He helped me change that tire, and JT was looking at his watch, looking at me. I'm like, I ain't done this in a while. What are you doing?
So he's giving you a little bit of hard
he's
time.
Talking crap. But, I mean.
Well, we aren't getting any younger, are we?
No, we're not.
But
that'll make you feel like a young man.
You're still breathing hard from it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, what a great race we had here in the Limited class. You've been around this world for a very long time, like I said, and now you're here racing again with your buddy Kevin, or driving for your buddy Kevin Porterfield, because he can have one substitute driver per season, and he's using it up right here so he can stay home with his family and whatnot. But it's great to see you out here racing. What'd you think of the course?
Man, this course was absolutely great. For a woods course, there were a lot more either-ors in this course than I've seen before.
Yeah, we really tried to do that because it's so tight and technical that you need those passing opportunities. Otherwise, you're stuck in lap traffic.
Yep.
So we tried to give every opportunity we could
Paul
to make
up
it
behind me. Man, he give me a little tap. As soon as I knew he was here, I had an either-or right there to go to the slow lane. Paul checked out, ran his race.
And he was running,
And then, just we passed some other guys in some either-ors. The either-or thing that you guys did with this race, I feel like is better than anywhere else I've seen. And we got lucky. That rain last night. This morning was a muddy mess for the 4,800 guys.
But it wasn't dusty like it was yesterday.
I told him, I said, I'll take wet over the dust because the dust is just scary. When you can't see the hood of that car,
in these trees. Those trees don't move.
It gets scary.
So, I mean, the dust yesterday was a little bad luck. The extra mud this morning was bad luck, but it made for a perfect track condition for you guys out on course.
Man, we just had it made. We had the best track. I mean, it's the top side of the hill up there is getting sticky. You can run fast. You don't want to overshoot corners or nothing, but it's just literally we ran into a good race today.
It looked like fun. So thanks for putting on a good show. What'd you think of that that last downhill drop right before the start finish line? That thing was a little sketchy when you came down and kind of started dancing.
Yeah, it gets hairy up on the front end. The hill, the big dirt hill, the next valley over. Oh man, it gave me big trouble getting out of that.
Where it was a 3 either up right up there at where we raced last year probably. Where you had to go up that steep hill and it was really tight, and there's three little sections up there. And did you have to get out and winch, or you just had to hammer down and dance between trees?
Yeah.
Oh, what a great race. It was so much fun to watch. Thanks for putting on a good show. I always have a pleasure with you coming out here. You and your dad.
Always enjoy it, man. Yeah, Dad's with me?
I saw Dwight out there. We had a fun little chat
big
last
stuff
night.
To me. Yeah.
It's great to see you guys. It's fun to see you out here. Are you going to try to come out to any of the rest of the races?
Yeah,
rest of the
I
season?
raced this year with Kevin. I rode in the car at King of the Hammers, and I'm going to try to make some more of the stuff this year. Man, the shop's doing great. We're doing great there. Family's doing great. I'm looking to just come out and enjoy some of this
and
stuff,
have some
man.
fun like we used to back in the day. You know, obviously life gets busy. You had a son, I think 4 or 5 years ago?
It's 4.
4. And, you know, I got my young girls. We were chatting about that last night. And it's great to just see where we've came and where we are and where we're going.
Exactly right.
It's great to
life's
see.
fun right now, so we better enjoy it.
Yeah, so what do you think the next race is going to be? You going to try to come out divisions?
I think Kevin's trying to come out there, and I think that I might try to come out with him if he does.
No, I'm bringing my whole family out there, so we'll have to link up the boy and the girls and let them have some fun. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that lazy river. If I mention that, maybe that'll sell them.
Oh, that's what got my girls coming out there. I promise. I've been coming to these races for a long time, and and I had to talk them in by the lazy river. They got so many amenities right there. It was great to see. So, Adam Woodley, always a pleasure seeing you out on track and here in the Project X booth. We're going to take a quick break. Awards will be coming up here very shortly, so we'll see you in just a second.
When it comes to suspension tuning, there's only one name we trust: Double E Racing.
Double E Racing. We help build champions.
Ready for any challenge. Max's tires can handle even the most punishing off-road conditions. Max's tires. Tread victoriously.
We are back in all this racing action has been brought to you by all of this amazing racing action has been brought to you by
I watched. Can't click the right thing. All right. Four, three, two, one. Go.
all of this amazing racing action has been brought to you by Raceline Wheels.
Fuck me. How about this? We're just going to do the animation over seeing and I'll add it in. Just come back with just straight up. Just read it. All right. So from here, just go from just read your fucking billboard from here and just read it. Just read it.
Raceline Wheels. AMSOIL, Rugged Race Radios, Project X Lights, and Speed Sport TV.
All right, out of that, go to a scenic. Welcome us back. Welcome back here to Rush.
Welcome back to the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. It's been an amazing weekend of racing, so thanks to every single one of you that has tuned in or is on site for watching some amazing racing. And we started out the week with qualifying, then we had the 4600 Spider Track Stock Class, then we had the 4900 UTV race. We ended out last night with the youth race. This morning we raced the 4500 and the 48 class, and then this afternoon has been the 4400 Unlimited race. It's been one heck of a weekend of racing here in Rush, Kentucky for Ultra 4 USA. Thanks again to all of our amazing marketing partners, our volunteers, all of our safety crew and staff for putting all this on, and you guys back at home for staying tuned in. It's been one heck of a weekend. So much fun, and we are not done yet. We are about to give away some Laser Nut awards wrapped by 360. Pam Hall is there trying to wrangle a few more of our drivers, and we'll be giving away some hardware here very, very soon. It's been one heck of a weekend out here, and it's not over yet. We still have some America Pro Rock bouncing about to take off here this evening. That's going to be fun to watch. We have UTVs, some rail buggies, and then some bouncers. And there is $20,000 on the line. And here is our unofficial AMSOIL results. Is first, Paul Wolf. Second, Josh Blyler. Third, Tad Dowker. Fourth, Cade Rod. Fifth, Philip McJilton. Sixth, Christopher Branton. 7, Rusty Blyler. 8, Casey Gilbert. 9th, Jonathan Dawes. 10th, Kevin Porterfield, driven by Adam Woodley we just had here in studio. And 11th is Chad Hunt. 12th, Chip McLaughlin. 13th is Roger King. 14, Dan Dunn. 15, Troy Digby. 16, Brian McVeigh. 17, Cody Hardesty. And it sounds like, Pam Hall, it's your show. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Miles. I am here with our 4400 Unlimited class in third place, Mr. Tad Dowker. Great race out there today. It came down to the wire. You were running in fourth position until you came across that finish line with the checkered flag. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, I feel real good. We kind of let the track come to us a little bit, and we had to come in and get fuel. We had a little trouble with fuel, so we actually fell behind Cade again. And we had some lap traffic the last couple laps. It was really a challenge to get around. But we really just pushed hard those last 2 laps and tried to get it up here.
So what was your strategy the last 2 laps? Were you just like pin it to win it, or were you kind of being a little easy?
No, we were pretty much using the whole track and bouncing off trees. We gave it everything I had those last couple laps.
Well, who do you want to thank for getting you up here today?
First, I'd like to thank my family, wife and kids both here. My son's going to harass me because he got a second yesterday, so I'm going to have a long ride home tomorrow. Outside of that, my sponsors, Mickey Thompson is here this weekend, Raceline, and for sponsoring this event, Yukon Gear and Axle, Warren Winch, AMSOIL, Dynamic Motorsports, Off-Road Research. The car is super on point with the shocks and everything. And my co-driver, I don't have my normal co-driver team this weekend. Brian Trump stepped in, and he held the fort down for me, and I appreciate it. And honestly, hats off to these guys. Like, I'm driving the wheels off this thing as hard as I can, and they're gapping me. So we got more homework to do, and looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that number 3 spot. It was a great race out there. We'll see you at the next one. We're going to move right on over here to our number 2, Mr. Josh Blyler. You have won here the past couple years. We thought you were going to get it again this year. Saw a couple things happen on track. You got stuck behind a car that had a flat tire. A little frustrating, but you did amazing out there.
Yeah, it was a good day. Can't complain about the results. Paul ran one hell of a race. You know, we never seen him all day, and I kind of hoped he was broke. But we just kept driving and driving, never could find him. The track did certainly get better as the days went on. They got dry and tacky, and you could really open these things up. In the beginning, it was pretty sketchy. But congrats to the guys on the podium. They did a great job. This place is awesome.
Well, who would you like to thank for getting you up here? Because I know you have a huge group out here that's been pickering for you and other people, but who would you like to thank?
Yeah, absolutely. The crew that we goes with us across the country are great. Couldn't do it without them. We love them. My wife and kids at home that let me do it. Jared that goes with me in every race, and his family that lets him do it. Then our sponsors, Nitto Tire. These things were awesome today. Radial Dynamics, Dynamic Manufacturing, Torque Converters, Miller Motorsports. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch, but all the guys that stand behind us, we love them and enjoy it.
Well, congratulations for being up here on the podium spot in that number 2 spot, Josh Blyler. Congratulations. All right, we're going to move right on over here to Mr. Paul Wolf. Last year, it was a battle between you and Josh Blyler. The trees didn't jump out at you this year. You're up here on this number 1 spot. You got to be feeling pretty good right now.
I'm feeling really good. My crew put in a lot of long hours. We just put a motor in the car. I want to send a special thanks out to Robert Wolf. He come over and gave me a hand, my uncle. I drag him to all these races. I blame all my mistakes on him, so I don't have to take the blame. But we had a really good day. Me and Josh battled last year, and a tree got the better of me. So this year I kept it out of the trees and was able to bring home a win. Again, I think it was the second last lap. My guys told me Josh just laid down the fastest lap of the day, and he was running me down. So they said, you better turn it on. And I ran everything I had in that last lap, and we came out on top.
Well, it was an amazing day out there for you. Who would you like to thank for getting you up here today?
There's a big list. First and foremost is my wife and my daughter. They go with me and allow me to work in the shop. I greatly appreciate it. We got Chris Hickman and Heidi. They both worked their butts off to help me keep the car running. And then Steve Morgan is the guy that helped us with this motor, and he got it redone from hammers until now. There's not a lot of guys that could have did that, and he able to get us a really strong piece. I mean, it's running really good, held up great. And then, of course, we got Raceline wheels, Nitto tires. Brannick Motorsports do a phenomenal job. The wheel bearings took a thrashing on this car today. We skimmed a couple trees, we'll say. And then, of course, Joe Thompson and TubeWorks, they all do great. RCV axles, they held up great in this car. We beat on the car real hard, and everything took it.
Well, it's awesome to see you up here on top of the box. I know you have something else to go do right now, but congratulations. Let's give it up one more time for Paul Wolf in that number 1 spot, Josh Blyler in number 2, and Tad Dowker in third position. And Miles, let's take it back down to you.
Well, thank you, Pam. What a wonderful weekend of racing it has been. Our next race is our first race in the Western Series up in Montana. Be sure to tune in. We're going to be racing with your May 18th through the 21st. So thank you to all of our amazing sponsors and everybody here at AOE.TV and Speedsport.tv for a wonderful weekend of racing here in Rush, Kentucky at the 2023 Raceline Wheels Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash. Again, I am Miles Hasquez along with Pam Hall and everybody from our broadcast crew. Thanks, and we'll see you at the next one.